Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV and welcome to this latest live vlog. I hope you're all well. Well, I've got two guests on with me tonight, regulars. Martin, how are you?
Someone at your door?
I don't know. I heard a ding then. I was like, someone's door.
I'm good. Not bad.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Chris?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thanks.
Go and answer the door.
It's not me. I haven't got a doorbell.
Neither have we. So it's probably Martin.
I don't have a doorbell.
He'll be stones being thrown against the window. Right, let's see who's on. We've got Sean's on. How are you, mate? You well? We've got OG the baby. Man United butthurt letting Lukaku left Manchester United. Now he scored 2 in the final. Not really bothered about him, mate. Sam Elliott's on. Martin fan club. There you go.
Jesus.
Another fake account by Martin. Iona Beat says the rags are the gift that just keep on giving. Yeah, not really bothered about them. OG the baby, you can't replace David Silva. It's going to be very difficult. Very, very difficult. Iona says, these videos from Man City today have had me in tears all day. I'm so proud to have had a player like David at our club, forever in our hearts. We're going to talk about that shortly. Tom Hudson's on. How are you, mate? Hope you're well. Who else? We've got Kamal's on. Looks like Pep might have signed a new contract. We're going to talk about Pep at the end of the video. Let's see who else is on. Cheesy saying extension. Don't think it'll be 2 years, but we'll talk about Pep at the end. Anthony Aomer says, it was an honour watching Merlin work his magic. Always a legend, especially this Dzeko. Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Ellen de Bell says, Lautaro Martinez looked class tonight. Sign him up. Big Martin's on. Yes, Martin, I thought that account had been closed down. He keeps
saying, no. There's Big Martin. Martin.
Oh, right. Okay. So this is his
other. I know who Large Martin is.
This is his other alias. Galaxy apart. Next season, our CMs will be Foden, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo, unless we sign a centre midfield, which we won't. Bernardo is the right midfielder, to be honest. Let's see. We've got Guardiola for 2 more years. Oh, I've not heard 2. There's been no figures as to how many years, but there's just a rumour which we'll talk about at the end. Harry Mills is on. Hi Blues, how are you? Right, let's get into it. Right, first things first, David Silva. Well, a couple of videos have been circulating around. One was an interview with David Silva himself on Man City TV, the official website, where he sat down and he talked through time from him joining City, through the managers, goals that he scored. He talks about playing with Sergio Aguero and Vinney company and trophies that he's won and all these types of things. And I mean, it was just a brilliant video to go and watch if you haven't already. Did you see the video, Chris?
No, I haven't seen the video, Andy. I have been busy in my garden again.
Yeah, well, you need to go over and watch it on the official site. It's really good. Martin, did you watch it?
I did. I wasn't like Alan Titchmarsh down there gardening.
Yeah, some of us have to actually do a bit.
Excuse me, some of us are on summer holidays.
Well, there you go. Ocean Ray said questionable red shirt, Martin. I know.
Right, hang on.
Should be absolutely destroyed. I mean, there you go.
It looks better.
That looks miles better. We'll carry on because that is definitely better for Man City Fan TV, without a shadow of a doubt. Harry Mills says it's a good video. Jamie Short says that assist against the Rags is the best I've ever seen. Large Martin says, is that an Adidas red shirt, Martin? There you go. I mean, how he's even put that, come on the show with that red stripy top on.
I've just changed
when he had that all along. Come on. There you go, Scott Williams, red shirt, Martin. Have a wobble, fella. Well said, Scott Williams. Shadow Runs Down says he best not come back shirtless. He'd definitely be getting removed. Definitely remove that video in the top corner. That's much better. Right, Caldoon also had his usual video. It's only a short one this time via Skype with Chris Bailey, talking about David Silva in particular and what an absolute legend he's been. And in that short video, he does state that him and Vinney will have pitches named after them. Plus, already in production, they are already in the design element of 2 statues, one each for David Silva and Vincent Kompany, and I'm sure there'll be one for Sergio Aguero as well when his time comes. But he did say that David will be included in the decision making of how it looks and all that type of thing. So, what are your thoughts on that, Chris?
Yeah, brilliant, mate. I think those 3 are truly deserving of a statue. They shaped our success over the last decade, the 3 of them. 3 really humble, lovely guys, never brought the club into disrepute, just brilliant professionals who were exceedingly talented on the football pitch. I think they should stick one outside Old Trafford too. He was brilliant there. Stick one next to Dennis Law, another City legend. Brilliant, mate. I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, Martin?
Absolutely over the moon with it. Well deserved. I will be honest, I spoke with Chris earlier about this. It makes you feel old. Because we went to Goodison, didn't we? And we saw this, can't remember the guy's name.
The statues outside, yeah.
Yeah. We've never had statues because we had Belley and Somerset, and I'd love to get them. I'd love for them to have some maybe form of a statue, maybe next door to him, I don't know. But, I think me being 21, when I go back there in 20 years, and I'm in my 40s, it just makes you feel old because it's not, they deserve it, absolutely deserve it, but it will make me feel old because I go to all these other grounds and I see these club legends that I've got the statues, we've never done it, and I'm going to be like, what? I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be 60 or 70 by the time I take my kids and grandkids to see them and go, look, because when you see a statue, shows the history and everything else, doesn't it, if you know what I mean? But it just makes me feel a bit old, that's all. But I think the 3 amigos is what they'll probably be called. They deserve it. There's nobody more that deserve it than those 3. But I would like to see a Belley and Somerby one at some point, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's always one, isn't it? That people always say, what about the 3 of them? What are your thoughts on, if we're going to start putting statues up, Chris, do you think the likes of Belley and Somerby should have a statue together as well?
Yeah, I do, actually. I think it's a bit difficult in the terms that, they played their time at Main Road, but I still think the club legends of the past, Bert Troutman as well, should, still be remembered in today. And to be fair to the new owners, or they're not new anymore, but they do look after the old guard too. So I hope that something like that happens. I'd love to see a load surrounding the stadium in 10 years' time with all these, a Phil Foden one who's going to, hopefully fill David's boots. Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good way of paying tribute to people who've given everything to the club, and excited the fans.
Well, I mean, there's people posting now on here, and just seeing the fact that, where is it? There you go. The rumours are David Silva has signed for Real Sociedad, according to Twitter. So, bit of a left field one. It was interesting that there was the whole rumour of Lazio, and then there was always signing for Lazio. Team terms have been agreed, and all this type of nonsense, and then there's rumours that David's had no contact with Lazio and he's not been answering his phone. And then tonight there's breaking news that by all accounts he's signed for Real Sociedad. Now, if they're true, that's a bit left field. It's not a team I really would have thought he would have signed for. But what are your thoughts on that, Martin?
Not the team I thought it was going to be.
No, me neither.
Everyone thought it was Lazio, but like I said, maybe it's the puller going back home to Spain. It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Did you say how long the contract was there?
I didn't say anything. I can't find any news at the moment for the length of the contract. It's just said he's.
Because I'm wondering, will that be the same? Will that be 3 years, the same as what Lazio were reportedly offering? But that's really left field, that one. Because Real Sociedad, the only thing I can think about that is it's got to be Spain. The pull's got to be Spain.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's a couple of comments here. Centurion's 100 points says, legend of the club Lazio disrespected him by giving him a deadline. I don't know whether, let's face it, he was a City player, he's not a Lazio player, and they've got to get their business done. And they can't keep hanging on and hanging on and hanging on. But the rumours that were coming out was saying that his team and him had had no contact. And there was no conversations with them at that point. So what the truth is, we don't know. But yeah, I mean, the rumours are that it looks like David Silva, allegedly, if the rumours are true on social media, that he has signed for Real Sociedad. So we'll keep you posted on that one. Still waiting for anything that's absolutely official, but we'll wait and see.
Andy, I think wherever he goes, every blue wishes him well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and I think he's one of the players that you do obviously get the absolute idiots on Twitter. But I think most people, even opposition fans, recognise what type of player David Silva has been for the Premier League, the brand, and obviously for Manchester City. Absolutely incredible. So Andrew W saying it's a 2-year deal. I haven't seen anything on that. Still, nothing is coming up as of yet. I mean, it might be the case. Sky Sports on my phone, nothing's come up on Sky Sports. Maybe it's on the TV, maybe, but obviously I've not got the TV on.
Perhaps Martin should get in touch with Duncan Castles, Andy, and clarify it.
Needs a statue of that midfielder for the modern game. Yeah, well, he's definitely getting a statue. Said that earlier, Jack. Watch David Silva videos he watched on the Etihad pitch showing his 6.56 tears miles. Gutted he is left, but the club need a rebuild. Yeah, it's his time. It's on Sky Sports News now. Yeah, I mean, we can't be on Sky Sports while we're doing this, mate. But if they're saying it's 2 years, well, there you go. It could be a 2-year contract, which sounds about right. He's probably got another couple of years left in him. In his interview on the website, they did ask him about, is there any possibility of coming back in any role? And Khaldoon said he can have basically whatever role. In theory, he can do whatever he wants. There'll always be a place for him at City in some capacity. When David was asked in the interview, he said, I left home early as a youngster. I missed out on a lot of family time. And I think after football, the one thing I'm going to do is spend more time with my family. Whether he's going to take a break after football, 2 more years in Spain, and then have a break with his family. He said, because I've missed so many years of my life. And then maybe... What's that? Sorry?
Yeah, Trev just checked.
Yeah, I'm sure it's true. So good luck to David Silva. El Maggio legend, Alan, with a super chat there. Thank you very much for that, buddy. What's that? Theo Tran says, can any today players will stay at Man City for 10 years, other than Foden, maybe? Who knows? Who knows? Well, according to opposition fans, Foden will be at West Ham when he's 26 anyway. So there you go. But
thought he was out on loan.
Yeah, well, yeah. He sat on the bench for the next God knows how long. Who's saying Pep out? Somebody said Pep out. What you on, lad? I don't know. I don't know who's saying Pep out. If somebody is delusional, but we'll talk about Pep at the very end. Right. That's statues. That's David Silva signed for Real Sociedad. That's the interview with David Silva on the official site, and also the interview with Khaldoon. So what we're going to do now, the Premier League and the Champions League is all over. We were going to do a full player ratings at the end of the season. I think we were hoping it was going to be not so soon, but City are out, as we know, knocked out on Saturday night by Lyon 3-1. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the player ratings, and that's the whole squad. We will leave Pep Guardiola till the very end. On there, I've got all the data in front of me for how many games, goals, clean sheets, minutes played, things like that, so we can talk through them. But the first one we are going to talk about, and it'll be interesting. How did Saturday night change your opinion of Edison? Because he got quite a high score, if I remember rightly, when we were discussing it a few weeks ago. But anyway, on to Edison then. I'm going to come to you first, Chris. Before you do, 44 games, 20 clean sheets, as we know. He won the Golden Glove. Conceded 37 goals in total. He played 3,837 minutes, which is phenomenal. It puts him as the second highest player, which is not unusual for a goalkeeper. But how do you think Edison has done? What would you give him out of 10 overall for the season, and any standout or things you want to discuss on Edison?
I think Edison has had probably a weaker season than last year. There has been a few more mistakes, but I think the contribution to the team that he puts in is massive, with his distribution. Still think that is a huge part of City's game plan, and he does it exceptionally. I'd give him a 7.5. I think last season I'd probably give him an 8.5. So a bit 7.5 for me.
So you're giving him a 7.5. Okay. Martin?
I said the other day, Edison's major problem this year, he's had no real competition for his place. And I think he's been relaxed a little bit this year. Has he made mistakes? Yeah. But the problem is, with Pep Guardiola's system, you're going to make mistakes. That's the name of the game. But how many goals has he set up this year? How many chances has he created? And I know people will go, well, that isn't a goalkeeper's job. Well, then they're not watching Pep Guardiola football then, are they? That's Pep's football. At the end of the day, that's the way he plays it. And he has made saves. He made 2 great saves against Real Madrid that helped us win the game to begin with. There was a game, I can't remember who it was, where he ran out, Manuel Neuer-esque, and tackled the guy and got it cleared. Look at Norwich City. He made 3 great saves from one-on-one chances. So, I'd probably give him a 7.5 to an 8. He has made mistakes, of course he has. But I think next year when he's got Zach Steffen behind him, I think he'll get better. But any goalkeeper in that kind of system, whether it's Neuer, ter Stegen, Edison, they make errors because that's the risk you play with football.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've seen somebody who was right up there in the world's best over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, in David De Gea, supposedly having a good, decent defence in front of him, has made some right howlers. I mean, complete howlers, not like Edison howlers. I mean, real howlers. And it does happen. It does happen over a season. And I think also the fact that this season in particular, he's had a really crap defence in front of him.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Complete rotation, lots of rotation, missing Laporte for a large chunk of the season and things like that. And it must be difficult because just like defenders read fullbacks and midfielders, the goalkeeper reads the 4 in front of him or the 3 in front of him or whoever are. And if they're constantly rotating and changing, then I'm sure he second guesses a lot of the time this season in particular. But overall, what score did you give him, Martin?
I'm going to give him an 8.
You're going to give him an 8. I'm going to give him a 7. But let's just see what
You don't want him.
people. I'll do it. Oh, no, it's not. If it's going to turn into. I mean, that in itself deserves a timeout.
It's ridiculous.
Well, I know. Well, there you go. So he can go in a timeout for that one because he's being childish. 5s, 7s, an 8.
Five's harsh.
Five's harsh. Very, very harsh.
World.
Very harsh. Kirk gives him a 7. Mingy Wong a 7. Harry Mills a 6. Ederson won the Golden Glove. He did. You've got to think with that, those defenders in front of him, an 8.5, and he's got 20 clean sheets as well. So with a dodgy 5, oh God, more garbage. He can go in a timeout as well. He should know better. Golden Glove tells the tale. 10. Well said, Blue Heart. There you go. Bit of positivity rather than. I'm not dragging on after Saturday night and getting into all that garbage again. Definitely not. There'll be lots of timeouts and blocks on it.
Can I ask a question? I mean, I understand, but there are people putting 5s and 6s. I want to know why. Why?
I've absolutely no idea. I've no idea. The mind boggles, absolutely boggles. But anyway, 8, he's been good this season, but people shouldn't judge him solely based on Liam. Well, that's what it seems that quite a few people are doing. Fox to 7. Neil says Ederson 7.5, not as good as previous years, but hurt by poor defence in front of him. I totally agree with that one. What else have we got? Happy Crusader. No, we're not talking about him, mate. So you can go because you're obviously a dipper. Conceded about 40 shots this year. He's conceded 37 goals. I don't know whether all of them are shots, but 37 goals he's conceded this season.
He hasn't. Goalkeepers don't concede shots. Defenders do.
Well, they concede shots, yeah. Ederson has his flaws, but he's amazing for our system. Easy 7 for me. Blue Heart says, at this level, errors are inevitable. Okay, so there you go. Ederson, you've all given your various scores. It's certainly not going to start putting up ridiculous scores on here. No way. I know you've got opinions, but if they're not going to be sensible, at least, then they're not coming up here on the channel. Everton fan says Ederson 9 with the defence. He had to come out with the Golden Glove. There you go.
Sorry, mate. My finger slipped.
What's that? Oh, God. There we go. I know. It's like, oh, God. It's like, come and sit down here. Pull up a chair and let's talk about me. Andy's kids, Dad, I'm hungry. Andy, go on a timeout. Yeah, a bit like that. At least they got some manners. If we'd have had Bravo in net, we'd have been mid-table with this defence. That's over a whole season maybe. Right, okay. So overall, I think he's around about a 7, 7.5 thereabouts from the sensible people on here. Right, moving on to the next one then. And that is Bravo, seen as though we're talking about Bravo. Will he be here? Will he be gone? Is he gone? Is he not? Is he going to, is he, that's the end of his Man City career? Well, he only played 17 games, which is not a lot. He normally plays a little bit more than that. He got 5 clean sheets, conceded 16 goals. So, Ederson had 44 games, conceded 37. Bravo, 17 games, conceded 16. But he played 1,461 minutes. Thoughts on Bravo overall? I think that is, not sure we're going to see anything of Bravo again. But Chris?
Yeah, well, I'm not Bravo's biggest fan, Andy. I'll admit that. But he's done nothing at all wrong this season when he's come in. I'd quite happily give him a 6.5, and that's just through the fact that he hasn't played that much football, really.
He hasn't. So like I said, he's only had 17 games this season. So you're going for a 6.5, Martin?
I'm gonna change this a bit. I want to do Bravo on the whole of his career because I like Bravo. I'm probably in the minority actually here. Did he have a bad first year? Yeah. But you probably would with cliche collar off and everyone else in front of you. You'd probably have a bad year as well. Listen, he's won us League Cups. He's won us Community Shields on his own.
We're not talking about his career. We're talking about player ratings for this season.
He's only played about 6 games.
Well, that's like saying, well, let's talk about David Silva's career at City. We're talking about scoring him for this season.
Right, this year, he's done well when he's come in. He's not made any glaring errors. He's done really, really well.
He's a good cup keeper. He's a really good cup keeper, in my opinion.
I think he's a good keeper all round, but some people just will never forgive the first year. Obviously he is leaving. His family put the post on, was it Twitter and other things, and I just, I give him a 6.5, but, thank you very much to him. Good luck wherever you're going. I'm not going to say a bad word against him.
Yeah, well, Joe Smith, he says 6, poor at Anfield when we lost 3-1, but in the Carabao Cup, he made crucial saves towards the end. He did do. Dudley Lewis gives him a 6.5. He's a very good backup keeper when called upon. His beard let his ratings down. Blue Hat says Bravo could feel the fan negativity against the first season performances. Good question.
Tom's gone positive.
He says, would you take Bravo or Willie Caballero?
Bravo.
I still take Bravo. Bravo. He's average and so is Edison. Oh, God, I mean, have we got more boring people on? Right, let's get rid of this tool. Right. I'm not putting up with any shit tonight. I'd have him over Pickford, says Cal. I'd definitely have him over Pickford, mate. And I'm surprised you've not gone in for him, his experience. Our first season with Pep, where Bravo played full season, I think if we had Joe Hart in goal that season, we would have won the league. But I can't fault Bravo for the trophies he's won. Yeah, good point, mate. Yeah, Raymondo says a 6. So overall, it's around about 6 to a 6.5 for Claudio Bravo this season, even though he's only played 17 games. Right, on to the next one, which is Kyle Walker. Now, Kyle Walker's played 42 games this season, 1 goal, 6 assists. He's played 3,424 minutes, so he's up there in with a large percentage of the people who played the most minutes. Thoughts on Kyle Walker this season, Chris?
Brilliant. Probably his best season actually for City. Really, really consistent performer. I think it's helped having Cancelo there to sort of push him. And he's come through. I think he's been ultra reliable. He still has the odd moment, don't get me wrong. Yeah. That's Kyle. That's the scarecrow moments he sometimes has. But absolutely fantastic. And I give him an 8.5. I think he's been ultra consistent.
He has been superb. And let's forget, what defender doesn't make mistakes? I mean, Van Dijk's the best defender in the world, and he made 2 mistakes 2 games running. So there's always mistakes in every player. Martin, Walker?
Well, I think he's up there as one of the best right backs in the league at the moment.
In the world?
I'm not going to go that far, Chris. Calm down a bit.
Well, I do.
In the Premier League, I think he's been one of the best. I think he's really, really been good. And he's done different roles as well. Anyone who's willing to go in net, playing a back 3, 5, whatever he's done everything this year. And he doesn't moan. You never hear him moaning, do you? You never hear him going, even when he comes on or he starts on the bench, you never hear him moaning. He just gets on with it, gets his head down. He's like Mr. Professional. Maybe not off the pitch as Mr. Professional, but on the pitch, he seems to be Mr. Professional. So I'm going to give him. I'm going to give him a 9.
9. Wow. I think he's been ultra consistent. He's rarely had a really a bad game where you've gone, oh God, our Walker's awful today. He's been a solid 7 upwards nearly all game, all season. I think I agree with you, Chris. I think it's been his best season for me. Been very back to that season he had for Spurs when he was brilliant that season. When I think Trippier was on the left or Danny Rose was on the left, and he was brilliant that season. That's how good he's been this season. He's been really, really good. And let's hope. I mean, he still looks fit as a fiddle. He really does. So, Chris give him an 8.5. Martin's give him a 9. Joe Smith gives him an 8.5, saying consistency. Alex Todd gives him a 7. Mervyn gives him an 8.5. Jamie Shark gives him a 900% save ratio in the Champions League. Very good. 9, second best right back this season. 767 Davy says 8.5 just for his pace at his age. Also held off the challenge of Cancelo. He's certainly done very, very well. Walker played well on the whole. Few too many mistakes, but steady. So overall, Kyle Walker's getting somewhere around, I'm guessing, between an 8 and an 8.5 overall.
I think as well. So, sorry, two sort of highlights of this season have been, Kyle, the clearance against Chelsea and the clearance at the Community Shield. God, yeah. Just unbelievable. Real sort of things that stick in the memory, and the speed of him is incredible. It's unbelievable.
Well, he like I said on the previous vlogs, I said the Premier League clocked up the fastest time this season in the Premier League. I think it's the fastest seen. So that's how quick he is. So absolutely brilliant. Okay, so between an 8 and an 8.5 there or thereabouts for Walker. Moving on to the one who you reckon has maybe pushed him this season then, and that's Joao Cancelo. Chris? Well, before we start, I'll give you the stats. Cancelo, 33 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. And actually, he's played 2,356 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to give Cancelo a 7. I think first season, and I think he's getting better and better. I'd like to see him on the right-hand side because his left side crossing is a little bit wayward. But the game against Lyon, in the first half, he played some lovely slide rule passes for Raz to get onto. So he's obviously can see what's in front of him. I'd like to see him on that right-hand side, but, he's got to get past Walker. So, yeah, I think he's had a decent first season. So 7 for me.
7. Okay, Martin?
I'm not going to be as kind as Chris because I'm worried about him for next year because he isn't going to play left back next year, and he's only come good since lockdown. Before lockdown, I didn't rate him. I'm not going to lie. He's proved me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Proved me wrong. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, he really has turned it around for me. But it's hard. I can't judge him in a positive light on 9 games, if you know what I mean. It's very hard for me to judge him on 9 games. So I've got to give him a 6 overall.
A 6. Okay. I'm going to split you two. I'm going to go 6.5. I think he has done okay when he's come in lately. I like Chris, though. I mean, so many times he's had unchallenged crosses, and his crossing has been abysmal on that left-hand side. But yeah, I think he's done all right when he's come in on the left-hand side. I'd like to see, we saw the last couple of games where Pep was lining him up for the Champions League in the Premier League, playing those last few games, and he looked all right, but I mean, the opposition wasn't much. I'd like to see him, obviously, next season playing more consistently to actually judge him, because I still don't think, even though when you look at it, 33 games, albeit some of those are sub-appearances as well, but I'd like to see more of him before sort of make a judgment on him. But I thought he's done better. I think somebody said it there, post-lockdown. I think he's done better than he has done pre-lockdown. But then he did have a run of games. So looking at the scores, I think it's anywhere between a 6 and a 7. People are giving him a couple of 5s and things like that. Nobody's giving more than a 5 on here. So yeah, Joe Cancelo, we'll see. I think the jury's still out, in my opinion. Laporte, then. Aymeric Laporte. Chris, Aymeric Laporte has only played 20 games this season, but he has got 1 goal. 1,497 minutes, so 20 games, not a lot overall to others.
No, I'm just going to give Aymeric a 6. We've missed such a lot of the season. A massive reason as to why we haven't put up a title challenge has been him being out. I think it's hard to give him much more on that because he hasn't been around. And I think as well, Andy, if I'm really, really honest, since lockdown, I don't think he's been anywhere near his best.
I don't. I'm with you on that. I do since come back, he's looked a little bit uncomfortable and not as sure.
Yeah, and I mean, that could be that he continually has these rotating centre-backs next to him.
Yeah.
You know, a Fernandinho.
Plus his injury.
Yeah, absolutely.
Takes 5-6 games for him even to get into it as well.
Yeah.
Martin?
Chris's point's bang on. How can he have a decent season when the magic roundabout's going on next to him? He doesn't know who's next to him from one day to the next, never mind week to the next. You know, and to me, I made a point. When you are playing with, and this is going to sound awful, an inferior player, you are worried about having to cover half their job off because you're worried what they're going to do. And I think that's what's affected him post-lockdown. I really do. I don't think he's as bad as what people says he is overall, but I think he has been poor since he's come back.
Mario Murray says, no, he wasn't. Watch all the games before lockdown. He was brilliant. A 10 for me.
He played 3.
He was injured most of the season.
Does he know he only played 3 games before lockdown or something daft like that?
I know. Yes, it's so. Andy, I'm sure you know who Kai Havertz is now.
Does that give us a clue?
I don't know. I think I know who he was. Did put the video out 16, 18 months ago on Kai Havertz, but I don't know. Maybe he's referring to something else. I don't know. Alex Todd, an 8. Sean gives him a 7. Don't we need to consider the adjustment period to the Premier League? Don't know who that's in reference to because he was here before this season. Laporte, 6.5. Matthew gives him a 7. Priyan, 6.5 because towards the end of the season after lockdown, we started seeing what he has and I want to see him next season. Was that a left back? Laporte?
Was this Cancelo?
I don't know. Well, no, this is after put the Laporte. Maybe he's a bit late and he thinks we're talking maybe about Cancelo. No, we're talking about Laporte at the moment. 7, Laporte, yeah. Alan gives him a 7.5. Peter Curry gives him a 7. Kurt gives him a 7. Sanjay, we talked about it at the beginning of the video, buddy. 7.5 died to his injury. Due to his injury. Laporte has been a 7. Legion 8 instant impact. Some of these might be coming through maybe from thinking we're talking about Cancelo, maybe. Lots of 7s for Laporte. Yeah, I agree with what you guys were saying. So Martin, what did you give him?
I'm going to give him a 6.5.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 6.5. Chris being very cruel, giving him a 6 there. But yeah, no, I agree with everything you said on that. I think it was a little bit, I don't know, wasn't great post-lockdown. Looked a little bit unsteady, in my opinion. Right, on to the next one, which will be Otamendi. Nicholas Otamendi then. Chris, 39 games, 3 goals, 2,880 minutes for Otamendi. So 39 games.
Yeah, well, I'm quite surprised he played that many games, Andy. I'm going to give him a 6. I think he's been average. I'm not a huge Otamendi fan,
No,
but I'm not going to say he's absolute rubbish because that's ridiculous. But yeah, for me, he's just had an average season, so I'm going to stick at 6.
Okay, Martin.
6.5. I think when he's come in, he's done well. Has he ever had an outstanding game? No. But what he does well. But it's very hard to judge someone like Otamendi, isn't it, really? Because he's not played a lot. So I'm going to have to go in the middle and go 6.5.
6.5. Yeah. Again, I think I'm going to agree with you. Martin, I'm going for a 6.5. Tom gives him a 6.5. Lots agreeing with you. 6. Anthony says Dank City gives him a 5.5. Chimunya gives him a 3. Man City for life for Teddy. He will be ending up in timeouts here if he start nonsense. Come on, a 2. How can you give a City player a 2? It's disgraceful. Calvin Lundell, Otamendi a 7. Hasn't been bad, but because he isn't fast, he gets sack noise. And if you watch most games, Furness slipped, but Otter gets stick. And there is gender people forget he was the best centre-back in 17-18. He was, like I said to Martin earlier, we're talking about this season. So 6. Go on then. Most people are going for a 6, so you win, Chris. He gets a 6 for Otamendi. Right, on to the next one, and that is...
Sorry, it's my computer keep wanting to do updates. I'm trying to turn it. Ignore it. Shut up, you daft thing.
I don't know what you're doing with that laptop. You have no idea. I've never known a laptop that suddenly wants to keep updating all the time. John Stones. God. 24 games, John Stones. I was surprised he played that many. No goals, 1 assist, 1,554 minutes.
It's been a bad season for John. For me, it's a 5.5. Really, really quite disappointed that he seems to be on the decline. And for me, out of the two of them, I'd want to keep Stones, but I just don't see it. I think they're both out the door. And I think that proved that in the Lyon match that Pep chose to play Fernandinho, who isn't a centre-back, and Garcia, who's a kid who doesn't want to commit to City, and he just left Otter and Stones on the bench. That really says something to me. So, yeah, just a 5.5 for John this year, unfortunately.
Okay, Martin?
I think you're being generous. I'm going to have to... I'm gonna be kindly giving him a 5.
Why?
Because, like I said to you in the last one we did a few weeks back, he's not done anything great. He's not done anything bad. He's just literally in the middle there. You know, there's nothing. I don't remember him doing anything amazing. I don't think he's done anything bad. He's just been there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's why I'm in the middle. He's a really hard one to judge, John Stones, this year.
Yeah, Mingy one makes a good point. Low on confidence, no wonder why he hasn't played many games. Yeah. I mean, we said it, I don't know how many times we have to keep saying it. I mean, we said it months and months and months and months ago on this channel. Seems like there's a lot, maybe, don't know. It could be rumours, but an off-field thing is something's going on in his head's not. I don't know whether he is seeing a sports psychologist or psychotherapist or something like that. Just doesn't seem
I'll tell you what.
He's got so much talent.
Saturday will have killed him. Because if you've got a kid in front of him who wants to leave the club, who's openly said he wants to leave the club, and he goes in ahead of him.
Yeah.
What has that got to do for that lad's confidence right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, a good point. Good point made. Andy says, to be honest, when Andy says he's played 24 games, that says it all, doesn't it? You could have told me he played 5 games and I would have believed you. But good point. And I think that's what both of the guys on here have said. It's sort of like a bit of a non-existent season, isn't it? It's like hard to define or pick something out. And yeah, I don't know. Give him a 5. I'm guessing it's been. I do feel sorry for him, but I agree with Chris. I think I'd like to keep him, but I think he might be gone if we get some money for him.
We're talking a £50 million defender here.
Well, weren't the rumours last week? I mean, again, rumours. Arsenal could be offering up to 40 million quid for him.
Never in a month, never.
Thinking, if that was the case, snap the bloody hand off 40 million.
Haven't Arsenal just got rid of a load of employees?
Yeah.
Because they got no money, but they're going to spend what they lost.
That's another thing. Iona Beat says, hit the likes, Blues. Yeah, give it a thumbs up, guys, if you want to. Beast Titan. Grow some spine if you give everybody a 5 simply means you want to see them again next season. Grow some spine if you give everybody a 5 simply means you want to see them again next season.
I can't, mate. My spine's knackered.
Sorry, mate. Don't make any sense that to me. I heard West Ham are interested in him. Well, I think if he goes on the market, I think there'll be plenty of people. I think there'll be plenty of Premier League clubs or even European clubs. It might do him well to go into Europe, come away from the British media and everything else, and maybe go a couple of years away, maybe in Italy or Spain or somewhere like that. And just get away from it and get his head screwed back on again. Addy says, Arsenal spending 40 million on Stones agent, Arteta has it again. John and Laporte were good. They were, Alex. They did play some good games together.
Yeah,
I think overall, from people on here as well, I mean, it's averaging what? Well, somebody's put a 0, so I really go for that. But there's 4s and 5s and 5.5s. I don't think he's done anything particularly wrong and nothing really, great. So I'll go for a 5.5 as well on that one. So John Stones says it all. Right, on to...
We've got a super chat.
And we remember we're judging on the season, not about what's about to happen. So be objective and not subjective. We're going to talk not about John Stones. Forgive me. I was trying to roll up a super chat then. My apologies. So come on, Wilfred Bone. Yeah, right. Sorry, not John Stones. I will put it again. It's Eric Garcia. So judge him on his performances this season, not what's happened before. Chris?
Well, for me...
Sorry, I apologise.
Yeah.
25 games, so he's played one more than John Stones. No goals, 1 assist, 1,868 minutes. So he's had over 300 more minutes than John Stones.
I'm going to give Eric a 6.5. I think he's been okay, but he's still you can tell he's still learning because he makes some really basic errors. Some of them actually quite worrying. You'd have thought a defender would have a better understanding of how to defend. I think Rio Ferdinand showed him up something chronic on the review after the game, a real schoolboy error. So there are some stuff to sort out for Eric Garcia, no doubting. But he's also shown how comfortable he is on the ball and that there is a real potential there. So he's not been outstanding. He's had some decent games. And he's put a couple of clangers in along the way. So 6.5 for me, Andy.
6.5, okay. Martin?
I'm about there, 6.5. He's good on the ball. He is a Pep style type of defender. You can see that. I think he needs to get stronger. He seems to be pushed off the ball a little bit too easy at times, for me anyway. But I think that's age. That's age, and I think that will come as he gets older and bigger. I'm not going to lie. I don't understand the Barcelona link at all. I don't get it. But I think he's done well. It's just a shame. It looks like we're not going to see him go any further in his career, which is going to be a bit of a shame, really. But yeah, 6.
Okay. Well, I must admit, I gave him a 7. I think he's done all right. I mean, my one moving forward, whether he goes or not, I've said it all along. My one concern for him, I don't think he's got any pace.
Yeah.
And that is a big concern for me. I don't think Aymerich's the fastest. And I think if you pair him with Garcia, somebody who's lightning quick, a couple of people lightning quick up front. And I think in this day and age, you tend to see some of the best defenders, they're pretty quick. Or, not saying they're Walker pace, but they have some legs about them. And I think that's my only concern with him, especially being a young kid. It's not like he's going to get much quicker. He's not going to suddenly turn into Kyle Walker overnight. So, but he's technically very good. Whether he'll go, whether or not, I don't know.
He's got a great point here. Can I just bring it up?
Yeah.
All right. The new Barca manager might not even fancy him.
Might not. No, might not.
Where does that leave him then? Because that's going to have to be a massive U-turn back, isn't it?
Well, I don't think it leaves him anywhere. Why does it leave him anywhere? Has Eric Garcia actually come out and quote saying, I want to leave Manchester City and go to Barcelona?
No, Pep's come out and said he wants to leave. So
no. Pep didn't say. Did Pep say that he's refused the contract?
Yeah.
He never said he wanted to leave.
Yeah. He said he wants to leave.
I don't know.
No, he's not said he won't leave. He said he wanted to.
He'd not signed an extension. Remember, he's still got another year left.
He said he's been told he doesn't see his future at Manchester City.
After his contract?
Yeah, he's only got a year left.
Well, that doesn't mean say he's leaving right now.
Oh, yeah.
He might stay next season. He might sign an extended contract. What did Pep also say to him? He also said that he wants him to sign the extended contract. So, well, I don't know whether he will sign it, if I'm being honest. And I think he'll probably go if he wants to go. But that's a good point, really. I mean, it depends if Koeman comes in or Xavi or whoever comes in. Will they be interested in Garcia now? Where does that leave him? He might just decide if we are going to go in. I mean, let's face it. If you're 19, City have just bought Ake. And then they're looking at another top centre-back. With Laporte, you're going to have to be asking questions of yourself at 19, aren't you? You're going to have to be a super, super talent.
Yeah.
Really super talent to be a first-choice centre-back at 19. Over the likes of a Koulibaly or a Skriniar or a big money signing who will want to play.
Yeah. The youngsters of today are very impatient.
Yeah, they are, because there's so much money. There's so much money, on offer these days, and at the end of the day, they only need one decent move, and their signing on fee sets them up for life. Never mind the wages and everything else. So, and let's face it, he's 19. What if next year he has an absolute horrendous injury? That's his career over with. And he's out on a £2 million signing on fee, and plus double his wages or treble his wages. So I don't know. It is what it is. If you don't want to sign, you don't want to sign.
I remember being 19. Only last. I said I remember being 19. It was only last year.
In your dreams. So overall, I think a 6.5 to a 7. I don't think he's been particularly bad. And I think in some games, I think he's been very good. But anyway, on to Ben Mendy then, Chris. Well, Ben Mendy's played 30 games, hasn't scored a goal, but got 4 assists, 2,324 minutes.
I'm going to give Ben a 6.5. He's not coming through as the player that we signed, I don't think. This again, the same as I said about Otamendi and Stones not getting a game against Lyon, to put somebody who's playing out of position ahead of him in the biggest game of the season tells me Pep doesn't trust him. And I think that's a real worry. for his future at City. I think he he can provide some amazing assists, amazing, but defensively, which is his main job, I don't think he's particularly great at it. So yeah, 6.5 for me, Andy.
Yeah, decent season, one of his best, a 7. Kamal, 6.5. We will see the real Mendy next season. I think we keep saying that every season, don't we?
Yeah.
I think it's just his injuries. I think if he gets a run of 20 games, I mean, for me, I think he's great when he gets 3 or 4 games running, but it's one thing or another, and I don't get why, because I don't think they're always down to injuries sometimes. I think whether it's an attitude thing, because I think after that social media outburst, I think Pep dropped him for about a while, but we'll see. So you're going for a 6.5, Martin?
So you're not allowed to talk about attitude because you don't know him. Anyway.
No, but we saw it came out, didn't it, on his Twitter account? So it was there. It was evidence. It wasn't. Oh yeah, he might have. I think he's got a bad attitude. Go on.
I just had to throw that in. Sorry.
Well, you're not getting away with that one.
Mendy's a funny one. Really is a funny one. Because if I'm totally honest with you, I don't think Pep fancies him. I really don't. Because if you look, I know it's Pat, like you said, I know it's injuries, but the last 3 or 4 years, we've had 2 CDMs there, a CM, and now a right back. Clearly, we know where the problem spot in the team is. We know really which one we need to go and sign above a lot of other points. We've had Fabian Del, Zinchenko, João Cancelo, Postman Pat, Godzilla, and everybody left back, but the actual left back. So, and I'm with you, it cannot all be injuries. So, I'm going to give him a 6.5.
So you're going for a 6.5. I'd give him a 6.5 as well. It's one of those. He just hasn't had a full season, has he? I don't think he's going to last much longer. If he stays this summer, I think he must not get injured or a big injury next season. And I think it'll be his last season if he doesn't have a proper one.
Like Groundhog Day, this when we talk left backs and Mendy, isn't it?
It's always the same. But anyway, we'll see. Moving on to this guy, which is Alexander Zinchenko. Zinchenko's played 25 games, 1 goal, no assists, 1,746 minutes. Chris?
I'm going to give Zinchenko my lowest score of the night, actually, and that's a 5. I don't think he is a decent enough replacement at left back, and I don't think he's good enough to get into our midfield either. I think he should have gone to Wolves by the looks of things in hindsight. If we get any offers again this summer, then take him.
Yeah, Sean gives him a 4. Yeet Forever gives him a 5. Zinchenko says, Kamal, 5.5. It's time to say goodbye. Mr. Sean YT says, why are we buying left backs and right backs and getting nothing out of it? Look at Klopp, he turned Robertson and Arnold to world-class players. Why can't Pep? He's too busy turning loads of other players into world-class players. Probably not spending enough time with the defenders. Shadow said he's Martin's favourite player. Super sticker from Sean Fogarty. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate that. Jamie Short says 4.5 and not being harsh. Scott Williams 5, but a committed blue. Great squad player, no trouble. You never hear anything from him.
That's true.
Martin?
Three and a half.
No, put him in timeout.
He's not had a decent game.
Sorry, what?
I think he's had a 7, Andy. I think he's had a 7.
So 7. It was definitely. I'm sure it was definitely a 7. I can definitely assure you it was a 7. Until he's sort of gone and give his head a wobble, being a blue, supposed true blue, giving a player a 3.5, disgraceful.
All right, 4.5. You can have 4.5.
Right, okay. We're moving swiftly on. I gave him a 5 as well. Even Kamal said 3.5 is very harsh. Yeah, I mean, he calls himself a blue. Yeah, I do wonder sometimes. Right, moving on to the next one, which is Ferner. Well, he played 41 games. I mean, you've got to bear in mind his age as well. 41 games, no goals, 1 assist, though most of those were as a centre-back. 3,234 minutes. What are your thoughts on Ferner then, Chris? 41 games.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to give Ferner a 7 because he's had to play out of position at most of the season. And to be fair to him, has done a decent job in most games. Don't get me wrong, he's not been perfect, but he's filled in a very important position, for us this season. And he is ultra consistent. I think I can certainly remember some good performances he's put in. So it probably, if he'd put in a season like he had at his usual position, I'd be scoring him down. But because he's out of position, I give him a 7.
Yeah, I think they're fair comments. And when he did move the odd time back to midfield, about most of the season, then he's having to go straight back into there. But Martin?
I'm scared of saying what I really want to say now.
Well, as long as it's sensible.
I think 7's generous.
Okay, you don't have to say 7.
I'm going to have to go between a 5.5 and a 6.
Wow.
I'm going to go 6. And I'm going to think I'm being harsh. I'm not. I understand he's in a position that he's not. But other players have played out of position and playing blinders. Fabian Delph was never a left back and was up there as player of the season. João Cancelo's not a left back and has done really well at left back at times when he's gone there.
Well, I mean, hold on a minute. When you say he's done really well when he's gone to left, he played 2 games at the end of the season against 2 crap teams. And
Ferner has had to play centre back without Laporte most of that time.
41 games.
Yeah, without players who are in form, mate. I think that's a really harsh score. I do.
Listen, that's absolutely fine. But I've always said to you, he's looked 34 years old all season. He really has. He's looked his age.
You.
No, he doesn't. He don't look his age. He looks older.
Do you know what? I'm older than Fernandinho, so that tells you a lot. I'm not going to lie about it.
You're a lot older.
No, I'm only 4 years.
Ferner, 5.
Shut.
So what are you giving him, a 6?
6, yeah.
Okay. Queen versus Gibbon gives a 6. Raymondo gives him a 7. Harry gives him a 7. Blue Heart, Ferner fading, in my opinion, 7. Yeah, well, I'm giving him a 7 purely because it's out of position. And I think to play that many games at his age as a centre-back with different centre-backs all the time, been a tough season for him this season. And I think overall he's done all right in that position. But has it been his best season at City? No, definitely not. But fair play to the guy. But I think we'll see less and less of him next season. In my opinion, I think it'll be flitting in and out without a shadow of a doubt. Right, on to this guy, which is Rodri. Now, Rodri, Chris, 52 games Rodri's played, 4 goals, 2 assists. He's played 3,679 minutes. He is literally, I think, 4th or 5th most minutes at City this season. 52 games. Which, if you look at it, and I'm just going through the list now, there's only 4 players that have got over 50, and they are Rodri, Gundogan, Bernardo, Mahrez, and the other. 2 more, Sterling and Jesus. So Rodri, considering this is his first season, 52 games, 4 goals, 2 assists.
Yeah, I think, Andy, I'm going to give him Mark a 7.5. I think there's really promising signs, and there are some other kind of, you wonder whether he is going to be as successful as Fernandinho in that role. But as far as the first season goes, it's acceptable. I certainly don't think we've thrown any money away on him. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with his performance. A 7.5, mate.
Yeah, Neil Handstock's gone for a 7.5 as well. Addy said, got to remember the adjustment period to the Prem. Rodri had a good season, honestly. An 8. Scott says 7 glimpses of promise, been solid and first season syndrome, settling into a new team culture, more to come from him. Agree with that as well. 7.5 said it's Billy. First season at City will only get better once he's adapted to the league. Martin?
I'm giving him an 8. I think for his first season, did he start slow? Yeah. But he is, I've said it for weeks, because he doesn't do anything out of this world, doesn't knock 40, 50-yard passes from right to left, people don't notice him. You watched him. I know Sky used to have, do you remember those cameras where you used to just focus on one player for the whole game? I'd love people just to watch Rodri for 90-odd minutes, and you'd see the ground, the work that he does, the passes. Yeah, they might only be 5 or 10 yards, but they're crucial passes. He's broken the pass record since, Opta have done stats.
He has successful pass completion. Most games is very high. Very, very high. He rarely loses the ball, which is a good sign, especially in that as well.
And he's chipped in with good goals as well. The one at that was an absolute score,
Yes, good. He has scored some good ones.
Post. He gets in and makes the runs at the front post, doesn't he?
Hi, Dan Wayne. He does. Yeah, definitely. Solid 7. He really needs to step up next season. Man City for Life gives him a 9. I only beat 7.5. Pretty slow start, which I expect, but really improved thrown into the deep end. Ben says 8. Grown throughout the season. One of our player of the season. Dudley gives him 7.5. Rodri Carabao Cup winner, top 3 most passing in the Prem, unsung hero for the last summer, 9 for me. I've given him an 8 as well. So I think he's had a really good season, and he's got better as the season's gone on. Like I said, I think he's a bit of an unsung hero, like you said, Martin. I agree with you. He seems to sort of nothing flashy, whatever, and he just goes about his job. And then when you see the stats after the game, you think, bloody hell, they're decent, and just probably because he doesn't stand out as much as other players, but I think he's had a good season. I've gone for an 8 as well. Right.
But has he got Rodrigo on the back of his shirt?
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what we should all call him instead of Rodri, because I think with Rodrigo sounds a bit more flashy, doesn't it, than Rodri?
Yeah, I think maybe he's trying. Maybe he's trying. On to Kai Gundogan. Kai Gundogan, Chris. 50 games, 5 goals, 3,521 minutes, 50 games, Gundogan.
Wow.
That is incredible. 50 games. And his minutes, 3,521. 5 assists. That's a lot of games. That's a lot of game time for somebody who people don't like and have opinions on and things like that. That's a lot of game time.
It is. Well, I'm going to only give him a 6.5, Andy. I don't think he gives enough to the team. I certainly do not like his partnership with Rodri together. I do not like it. I think together is too slow, and I would keep Rodri before I would keep Gundogan, that's for sure. So just a 6.5 for Gundo.
Okay.
He doesn't do it for me.
It's fair enough. Gundogan 7 standard season. Anthony says 6.5. 3. Don't know how you can give any City player a 3. King versus King, a 6. 6.5 for me, underrated. 5, really slow this season, has been useful as a chocolate teapot.
Proper Marmite, innit?
Yeah, I mean, this shows you've done it, mind you, though. No, I won't say what I was going to say.
Don't.
5, ideal for the pace of Europe with quicker players around him, but not great in the Prem. Always gives 100%. Yeah, I mean, I've always said, Scott, it's been my point. I think in Europe, it's a bit of a slower pace where sometimes he gets caught out a little bit. I honestly do believe that when he plays further forward, he plays better, but when he's sort of close to Rodri, when they play in that sort of two together, I don't see it. It gets a bit slow. But go on, Martin. What are your thoughts on Gundogan?
I just said he's Marmite. You love him, you hate him. There is no in between. You know, I think we all know now he's Pep Guardiola's illegitimate son. That's quite clear as daylight. He is, because he plays every single big game going. You know, he's probably the first name on the team sheet for Pep. But I agree with you. When he's further forward, he's better. The only problem is when he's further forward, he's not quick enough to do it at times. He can't get to the 1-2s. Like he gives 1-2s and can't get back to the two. Just can't do it. He doesn't. He just hasn't got the pace, unfortunately. He's got the break. Go on.
Sorry. No. Apologies. I've heard a lot of people, pundits and things, go, you know, I mean, this is what drives me mental sometimes when you listen. These are ex-footballers, I heard them yesterday, I think it was, after the Lyon game, and pundits were saying, I know, but you only have to look at, he's only got 5 goals and 5 assists, you know, and for an attacking midfielder, that's really poor. And think, do you watch City? Do you actually watch them, or are you just going, oh yeah, he's an 8 or he's a 10 and he's only got 5 goals, 5 assists? He don't play that role. You don't really play that role as a, you know, like a 10 or an attacking, you know, 2 8s with a De Bruyne and things like that. That's not what he does. He tends to sit a little bit deeper.
So, I think it is. We've not seen the Gundogan we saw at Borussia Dortmund.
No, I mean the injury.
He's had a bad injury.
He's had 2 bad injuries.
Yeah.
He's back.
When I watched him at Dortmund and I heard we were signing him, I got really excited. I thought,
good player.
Midfield, because United were after him as well, and United were very close. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, mate.
But and I don't know where it's the injuries, but he's lost the yard of play because he was the spine of that Dortmund team. He was doing the goals. He was really cooking on gas, and you know, someone's turned the gas off on him now.
What you going to give him for a score then? Before we move on to the next one,
6.5.
Yeah, that's what I've got him for, a 6.5. I think he's been just slightly above average, but I think he is consistent for me.
Nearly knocked a half off for that dreadful miss at Goodison Park. Sorry.
Well. Yeah, well, you'd be knocking about 10 off them for Raheem Sterling's miss on.
Oh, we'll get there. Don't you worry.
Oh, no, you can't do that. Right, Kevin De Bruyne. Chris, 48 games, 16 goals, 23 assists, 3,826 minutes. Now, he's had a few niggles as well. 48 games, 16 goals, 23 assists.
Yeah, another one of the players that I can't stand. I think he's had a useless season.
You're going to give him a 3?
3. I think he's amazing. I love watching him play. I really do. Easily, for me, the player of the season in the league and definitely at City. It's easy to sort of say I'm going to give him a 10 or a 9.5. I'm going to give him a 9. I think I'm being a bit conservative with that. But I'm going to give.
No, that's fair.
I think he is truly a wonderful world-class player and probably in the top 3 players in the world right at this moment in time. I think he's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Love him.
Yeah, Kurt's given him a 9.5 on there. Martin, Kevin De Bruyne.
This is hard. This is hard for me. Because if I say what I want to say, I'm going to get pelted in the comments going down there and all. Well,
no. You've got to be honest.
I'm at an 8 or an 8.5.
And
because, no, the reason is Kevin De Bruyne 2 years ago was better.
what was that? I'm only joking. Come on.
KDB 2 years ago was better than this KDB.
Yeah. I think he was more flamboyant and things like that. Yeah.
He's had moments in games when he's got to that level. Has he been as consistent in games as he was 2 years ago? No. Every single game 2 years ago, he was flying.
Can I just put in
this year about him? Because there are games where he goes and you're non-existent for 60 minutes.
There's a difference between 2 seasons ago and this season, Martin. There was other players who were taking the responsibility. He is basically doing it on his own all season. It's him who's trying to pick the team up and drive them forward. You know, some of our exceptional players this season haven't performed or are in decline, but Kevin is the boy. He has definitely been the one to drive. I think
I told you.
You know what? I'll make a comment here, and I'll probably get absolutely slated. So feel free to slate me, but I am always try to be objective unless I'm talking to idiots. But you know what? It reminds me of that those couple of seasons when Liverpool won their Champions League in Istanbul, and he reminds me of what Gerrard did for that team those couple of seasons. They weren't a great team. They were not a great team. And he just, every game was dragging them forward, and that's what he's done this season without being as spectacular as the 17-18 season where he was. I mean, those passes for Sane and phenomenal. He's done some amazing passes this season, but he's worked and pushed the team forward so much this season.
I agree, and everyone's in the comment. I'm reading them all. They're saying I'm drunk, I'm smoking all sorts. And by all means, I am not. I am being honest because there's been games this season, and Andy, you know, we've walked out the Etihad this year, and I've gone for 65 minutes. You did not see KDB. You
did say that, yeah.
So I'm not going to change now and go, he's fabulous, he's amazing, he's this and that. Yes, he is. He's the top 3 player in the world. Hands down, he's the 3rd best player in the world. Maybe even the second one, because I think Ronaldo's had a naff season, really, if you look at it. But don't worry, mate, you're getting woken up in about 4 hours. Oh, don't you worry. Get your phone on silent.
I like this one from Jamie Shark. Gerrard kisses cameras, KDB kisses back-to-back. Very good.
Listen, I love KDB, but I'm just all right. 8.5, 9. I'll give him a 9. Then.
No, you can't change. No, you can't. No, you can't change. You just crack under pressure, don't you? You've got no conviction at all.
Because I'm stuck.
Martin, don't listen to what these people say to change your mind. Just you stick with your guns, mate. It's your own opinion. It's your own opinion.
My lips go quicker than their typing, so I'm not good.
Martin, he tried to drag us through the season, and even more evident against Leon Hence's comment. He was gutted, same old story, different year. He has a sky blue fire in his belly. Let's hope so.
Can people, hand on heart, well, he's better than 2 years ago?
Well, I mean, you're trying to well, all right then. I'll tell you what. One thing, he didn't get 23 assists 17.
No, I agree with you.
But I don't think he scored 16 goals 17-18 season.
Do you remember the Stoke game? Do you remember the Stoke game 7-2, 7-1, whenever it was?
Are we going back 2 years ago?
Well, yeah, because that was 2 years ago, yeah.
We're talking about this season.
All right. Well, I know, but I've never seen KDB have a game like he did in that Bournemouth game.
Yeah, I mean, which is what I think we would say. 2 years ago, he was spectacular with passing and things like that. I think he's done more work. I agree with Chris. I think he's done more work this season, and his work rate and everything has been phenomenal. Absolutely.
People in the comments are not giving him the score on work rate. They're giving him a score on all this because they've looked at the stats.
No, but that's why Chris is giving him a 9 because of what he's done and dragged the team forward, not because of his play.
Well, it's Chris to give Gabby a 10 then.
I do. You never know.
If we're going
right, you're giving him an 8. I'm giving Kevin De Bruyne a 9.5 because he's been my player of the season. I think he's been. I think he is phenomenal, and I think I agree with Chris, and I know what you're saying, Martin. I agree with Chris. I think we've seen something different from him this year that I don't think we've seen in the previous years. I think when he's been spectacular, I mean, he's phenomenal. We know that anyway, but I think he's just brought this. I don't know whether it's his age now. Is it 29? Just turned 29, and it's that maturity now. He knows when to drag a team forward, and I think that's a massive, massive part of this season. I'm giving him a 9.5. I think he's done. Maybe he's not been as spectacular as previous seasons, but I think he's been phenomenal. Martin's swimming in quicksand here. Hey, everyone's entitled to an opinion, aren't they? Go on. Andy Mills says, I can't believe we're even actually debating Kevin De Bruyne.
Listen, if we all agree...
He's been more of a club captain, maturity, I agree. Yeah, of course it would be boring. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Kevin De Bruyne, I don't know, a 9.5, 10, I don't know. Blue Art says, just for passes, he's a 10. He's the best passer I've ever seen. I mean, the one the other night, the one with the outside of his boot to Raz when the defender got a touch on it. Brilliant.
Yeah, he did a lot more than 2 years ago, lad.
Unbelievable. I'm not sure how many outside of the boots across the box like that he did, though. Right, on to Philip Foden. Chris, Foden's played. You know, this is one that they always say. I mean, I messaged in yesterday because I was fuming when I heard Danny Mills yesterday talking about the Lyon game. Well, asked about what he said about that. You know, because he just talks a load of shite anyway. But he was going on about Phil Foden. He went, yeah, I can't believe he didn't play. But then that's just typical, innit, of Pep. He says, plays him for 2 games, then drops him for 5 or 6. I went, what? What? He plays him for 2 and drops him for 5 or 6? How many games do you think City have played this season? Because Foden's played 38 games. Yeah. In that case, what? Have City's played something like 140 games this season for him to be dropped for 5 or 6 and only plays 2? He's actually played 38 games this season. Or a young kid. 8 goals, 9 assists, 1,740 minutes.
I think this has been his proper breakthrough season. I do. I think he's proved himself every. I think he's had a couple of quiet matches. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
that only to be expected with any player. But for me, he's had a really, really good season, and I think he's starting to fulfil the promise that we all want to see. And he's influential. He works his socks off. You know, he is a proper Blue. He's one of us, isn't he? You know, he's one of us on the pitch. Just he's got some talent, and for me, he's an easy 8.
Who are you talking about there? An 8. You go for an 8, an easy, an easy 8 there.
An easy 8.
We've got Jamie Short with an 8, and Mervin's on. He's giving him an 8 as well. Sean's giving him an 8. Yeet Forever a 6.5. Okay. Kelly Burke an 8. Mingy Wong an 8. Lankow gives him a 7.5. Ace B gives him a 5.5. Queen versus King an 8. Kamal Foden 8. We've just seen the beginning. Like, absolutely. Peter Curry an 8. Daniel Hoos says Foden 9 gives it in all the games. He's given an immense, whatever he gets a chance to start for me next season. Marty, Phil Foden.
8. I have no issue with Phil whatsoever. I think I'm not sure it's his breakout season because I've still got doubts on what Pep thinks about him, but I'll get into that when we come to Pep at the end.
Well, no, because it's about Foden. What about what do you mean? It's not his breakout season because you're not sure what Pep
38 games.
I know, but How many of them did he start? He didn't start 38 though, did he?
Well, no, none of these are starting 38 games because
No, that's what I mean.
especially when they got we're saying Rodri 52 games. I mean, Jesus, he would have had to have started in every single Man City game.
You don't need to argue with me on Phil. I love him.
Yeah, come on, expand a bit more on what you were saying.
I don't think Pep loves him as much as he says he does.
What?
I don't.
Why?
I really don't.
What is it? His attitude?
Something.
No, listen. I love Phil.
Go on, we'll give it. I know. You can't come on here and go. I don't think Pep loves him as much as he says he does. Why?
Because
I'm not saying you're wrong. You might be right, but I'm saying why.
Danny Mills talks a lot of crap, but he had a point in what he said, not with the 5 or 6, because that's just complete and utter exaggeration. But Pep does do that. He plays him in 2 and then drops him for the next 4. He does do that.
Well, he can't do that because he won't. Okay.
No, he does. He does, and we watch him. He'll play.
But
3 games.
Yeah, no, but remember,
that's not a breakout season.
He's only a baby. He might get tired.
Hang on. Wayne Rooney was 16 when he played. Don't give me.
I look at Wayne Rooney. I look what happened to Wayne Rooney. By the time he was 28 and 29, he's finished.
No,
that was him over, done with.
Right.
Well, maybe Pep don't want to do that with Foden. Maybe he's trying to guide his career. So are you honestly telling me because he's a young lad and he plays in 2 or 3 times and then puts him on the bench? He don't drop him, puts him on the bench for a couple of games.
No, he's putting him on the bench.
You don't really like him.
Nice way of saying drops. Come on.
Well, what about rested?
He's a young lad.
Four cup competitions.
And as well, we've got so many talented, creative midfielders. You've got to rotate them.
If he put Phil Foden on the bench, if he didn't put Phil Foden on the bench and he kept David Silva on the bench, you'd be one of the first to complain. We want to see more of David Silva in his last season.
No, because I was the one who said David Silva shouldn't be playing a lot this year. I was the one who said it, actually. Phil Foden, I want to see him have a run of 10, 12, 13 games on the bounce. Go. Get going. Run.
Martin, they have a multi-million pound medical team who are monitoring their colour ratios of where they are in training and where they are in matches. Now, if he starts sitting orange in that, the team will be going to Pep. He needs a rest. He's tired in training and he needs a rest. And Pep was not going to go, shut up. Martin says he has to play 13 games, otherwise that's the only time that Pep loves him.
I never said he had to play 13 games.
You just said I want to see him play 12, 13 games.
I said I would like to see a run. Yeah,
I'm sure if he clearly at that age is not like Sterling. Sterling, who Pep has said has got the most incredible recovery he's ever seen in a play. He could play every 2 days, no problem. Maybe Foden is not like that type of player. Maybe are monitoring him, and it's a long season, and maybe he's reaching these colour peaks.
At Foden, so I'm not having to go at Foden. I love Foden. I'm probably Foden's biggest fan. I love him. I want to see him week in, week out.
I'm his number 1 fan.
No, I want to see him week in.
I'm his number 1 fan. No,
I don't think Pep. I'm be honest. I think Pep pays lip service to him.
I think that's nonsense. I'll be honest with you. I think that's absolute nonsense. I feel if you thinking that Pep saying is one of the best talents I've seen, you're thinking, well, you're lying, Pep, because I don't believe you. I don't believe you saying that. And all the pundits who have said this season, he is the future of England. They're going to build the team around him. So they are lying as well, thinking of his talent.
No, hang on a minute. I'm not. You're losing the point because I've not said Foden won't be that. I agree. Foden will be the captain of England one day. Of course he will.
I know, but what I'm saying is you're missing the point. I'm saying if you're saying Pep's coming out and saying this, the same things that all these pundits are, but you somehow think Pep's lying about what he's saying about Foden.
Well, he's lied about what he said about Stones.
Why? What's he said about Stones?
While I'm here, he'll always be here, and he's great. He's great. Best ball player of defending we've ever signed and everything else. He played a guy on Saturday night who wants to leave the club ahead of him. Don't give it me, sunshine. Load of tosh. Sorry.
When did he say that, Martin?
Oh, go! You know exactly when he said that. Don't start going back giving me quotes. Hang on, I'll find it.
It was last season. It was last season.
Does it matter? He still said it.
Yeah, but a lot of things have changed between then and now. We've seen all the things with his girlfriend and everything else, and whatever else has gone on.
Right, well, let's move on.
And obviously, he's got a bad attitude. So I mean, definitely, that's his reason. Anyway, Phil Foden definitely gets an 8 from me. Let's see what.
Bloody 8 as well.
I give him. Yeah, no, I'll give him an 8, but I haven't slagged him off.
I haven't slagged Foden off. I slagged Pep.
No, oh, he's slagging. Oh, yeah, he's admitted it. Everybody, you heard him. He's slagging off.
I'm sorry, but Pep Guardiola is not immune to criticism. I know everyone else thinks.
No, nobody is. No, nobody's saying that.
Oh, they are. Oh, they are.
Martin's gone all Gary Neville controversial.
We say anything wrong against King Pep, and my God, the whole world comes at you.
Oh, calm down. Would Pep play Foden against Real Madrid if he had no confidence in him? There's a question.
Didn't play him against Leon, though, did he?
No. And actually, you know what? And after the what's today's date? Sunday, yesterday. I thought back to an interview I heard on Friday on Talk Sport with Trevor Sinclair. And they were asking Trevor Sinclair about the game. And they said, how do you think he'll go? And Trevor Sinclair was almost spot on with how Pep lined up. And they said, oh, Foden had a wonderful game against Madrid. And what about Mahrez? And what about... And he went, I really do think Pep will probably try and rest them because of how many games they've played this season in the hope that they can get through Lyon and save his players for the Bayern game. Or if the Bayern-Barca game, whichever it was going to be. That's what Trevor Sinclair said on Friday on TalkSport, or it might have been Saturday morning, something like that. So, interesting. There you go.
Just remind me of the score again. Sorry, before we jump.
No. It's not about the score. I'm just saying that's what Trevor Sinclair had in. He was saying prior to the game, saying, I've got a feeling the likes of Mahrez and Foden and others will be rested.
That's come out today, Dan, and that's what's come out today, that the players are not happy, are they? Because they all thought they were training for the Bayern Munich game and not the Lyon game, and look what happened. That went tits up very quickly, didn't it?
What did they say? Who said it?
No, that's off again.
More.
You said a video earlier on.
A source said.
Yeah,
Duncan Castles.
Yeah, oh yeah, his mate. I forgot his Duncan. It was Duncan. It was Duncan.
I was the financial tick-attack of the earlier on today with Lionel Messi.
Remember what Pep said, Martin? Phil Foden loan, no chance. There's no better manager in the world to guide Phil Foden's career. I'm Piggy Smalls. Stuff like that. Exactly, owner. And as a false nine, how many different roles has Pep trusted him with? Yeah. I'd go for it. Yeah, well, I've gone for an 8. I think he's had a great season. Really, I mean, some brilliant games. Yeah, some quiet ones, like Martin said. But he's only young, and I'm sure he'll be brilliant. Moving on to somebody which might be controversial now. We'll start. We won't go to Martin because we know what Martin is going to say about this. No, this is all about Bernardo. My Alexa's going off in a minute. On 1 second, I'll just turn that off.
Hi, Al.
I'll have Alexa talking to me. Bernardo Silva, Chris, 52 games, 8 goals, 10 assists, 3,299 minutes. Bernardo Silva. Has he played his last game for Man City because he's going to Barcelona or somewhere, says Martin?
I hope he hasn't. I think he's had a really difficult season. You know, there has been some stuff off field that I think may have affected it. We haven't seen the Bernardo we saw the previous year when he was outstanding. You can never knock the guy's work rate, but for me, he has had a quiet one. So I'm going to give him a 6.5.
A 6.5, okay. Yeah. Martin?
6.
6. Just
really quiet season. And that's all I'm going to say.
Well, that's it. A really quiet season. Sixth season for his standards, not going anywhere. Blue Art says Bernardo has been quiet this season. 7th for me. Our player of the season 2 years ago. We need him to start centre mid or central attacking midfielder role. Jamie Shorts gives him a 6. Alan gives him 6.5. Poor for his standards. He's so much better.
Alan's photo look like 20 years younger.
Sorry?
Why does Alan's photo on there look 20 years younger?
Same as yours.
Looks very young on that one.
5, not very good season for us. 10 for Twitter, but I'd rather him not do that too. Thought it was quite funny, actually. Brendan Slattery is 7.
Oh, the comment about Liverpool fans.
Yeah. Not as good as last season. Very quiet. I'll give him a 6. Blue Art says, "What does Pep think, Martin?" Super. Absolutely, bro. Go on, Martin. Tell us the inside track. Oh, look at him. Oh, he's upset now.
Hey, listen, I give an opinion.
You could. Of course you do. Yeah. I never said it's a good one, but I mean, yeah, you do give an opinion. I'm only kidding. I'm joking.
Hey. Some of us Guy Gundogan bloody signed shirt up on the wall in there, couldn't there?
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I think a 6. I think it's a shame because, like I said, he was so good. He was player of the season last year, and yeah, not great this season. And yeah, I do agree with those. I think everyone said it after the Ben Mendy sort of Twitter stuff. He's just never looked the same player. I don't know what.
Mate, he
seems happy. He seems happy. I mean, when you see him in interviews and his social media account and whatever else, he seems really happy. But
he comes across as a lovely bloke.
So go on.
I say he comes across as such a lovely bloke.
God, yeah,
and funny.
Turned into Ben Mendy this year.
What's that?
Turned into Ben Mendy this year with all his social media activity.
He has. We've not got Ben Mendy on it as much.
Hey, but here's the problem. Remember this, and this is a start I can't get away from. He's had 1 good year in 3.
Yeah, the first season I think he was all right. He was average, and then he had a wonderful season. And this season it's not really worked out for him at all. But I don't know.
But I do love him winding up the dippers. That is amazing.
Blue Art says, I'm only pulling your leg, Martin.
Wait till we're back at the game, Blue Art. You wait.
Pete says his control of the ball is immense, but not a great season. He'll be back next season. Let's hope so. Can we take a break now, mate? Because we're already through quite a lot of it. We're moving swiftly on to Mahrez. Okay, over to you then, Chris. Riyad Mahrez, 50 games. 13 goals, 16 assists, 3,149 minutes.
Yeah, they're decent stats, Andy. I'm giving him a 7.5. I think he's had a decent season, but it doesn't do enough for me. Still, it does not do enough for me.
Okay.
And I think, but and then maybe I'm being a bit unfair because for me, he's playing out of position as well. So it might. I'll tell you what, I'll knock him up to an 8.
Okay, an 8, Martin.
8.5.
8.5 for Martin. Why?
I disagree with a lot of people. I think his work rate is much improved. I think he does track back. He does try. He needs to be a little braver sometimes, but he does track back. I think honestly, he's improved a lot. The main thing is he's in the wrong position. But then we've got, and I don't want to repeat it again, but we're back at the conundrum of KDB's in his best position. But I think Mahrez is a really, really good footballer, some great stats. And I'm just happy for the lad that he's really, really improved. And I think there's more to come from him as well. Because I still said on Friday night, Saturday night, he changed that game around when he come on.
He balanced the side up, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did balance.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He gets an 8 from me. And I'm giving him a 7 to 7.5 on performance-wise per se. But his stats don't lie, as in goals. Even though, I know some of those, but 13 goals, 16 assists, they're decent at any level for me. So I'm giving him an 8. I think he's been up there for me. But I agree, there's just something about, I expect more from him sometimes with somebody with so much skill. And I think if he was a bit more dynamic and went at play, especially when he's one-on-one, he's got the trickery to go past them into the box, but he doesn't. It's like he's always waiting for a ball backwards. But I think he's had a pretty decent season for me. Right, okay. The time has come. This will be the last time we ever do this. David Silva, 40 games, 6 goals, 11 assists, 2,602 minutes. I think let's not go into David Silva and what we thought about him. We talked about him a lot. Just on his performances this season, let's keep it fairly brief because we have done a big in-depth thing on David already. So, Chris?
For me, this season, we have seen a decline. Still very consistent player. When the game's a bit slower, he still runs games. But we have seen games pre-lockdown where games sort of bypassed him a bit as well. I give him a 7. I think he's had a decent season, but not the David Silva of old.
Yeah, I think that's true. Somebody's just asked there, what did KDB get? Got disconnected. Chris gave him a 9. Martin gave him an 8. I gave him a 9.5.
Martin got slugged off.
Yeah. Deservedly.
Well, Martin got absolutely slated. Martin, David Silva.
I can't wait to hear your 3-hour documentary that you're coming out with.
What did you give him, Chris?
I gave him a 7.
7. Yeah.
So look out for that on the channel. Andy's going to do an in-depth 3 to 4 hour documentary. Stood outside David Silva's house. He's going to greet him at the airport and wave him off.
Ain't going to happen.
I don't want to be sentimental with the score.
No, it's about the season.
I think we can all fall into that because it is his last season. I'm going to have to give him a 7 because pre-lockdown, he was not that. He was David Silva, the new David Silva. Who was in decline, and you sat thinking, this isn't the way you want to see him go out. And then lockdown seems to have rejuvenated him, and he's come back absolutely out of this world. Absolutely magnificent. The old El Mago we want to see, and that's why. But yeah, I wish him all the best at Real Sociedad. I really do. And I pray to God we get to do this testimonial.
Yeah, which I think
we will, though. No.
Yeah, I think we will. I think it's already been said, hasn't it?
I know, but he's got to fly over and fly back, and
I don't think it'll be till next year anyway. I don't think it'll be this year, or it might be around. I don't know. Is it a Christmas break this year? Are we having a Christmas break?
No, but we're all going into stadiums in October, aren't we? Apparently.
No, I mean, is there a Christmas break?
The winter break.
Winter break, is that going to be December, January, or I don't know what there is, but 7. I gave a 7 as well for this season's performance.
Did that hurt?
No. You have to be honest about it. He's had so games, and then other games he's been absolutely superb. And I think, like anything, if you look at his games this season, I think I'll be honest. I think there was only 1 or 2 where I've gone man of the match performance. That you used to say that quite a lot with David Silva, and I think this season not so much.
And I bet they were all after lockdown, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Yeah. Well, no, I think there was one. I think there was one before lockdown, and well, definitely one afterwards. I can't remember the game, and he was absolutely superb. But anyway, that's David Silva. Moving on to Raz Raheem Sterling. Then 52 games, 31 goals, 10 assists, 3,987 minutes, just under 4,000 minutes for Raheem Sterling. Chris.
Well, they are very good stats, but I think for me, there was a prolonged period in our season where he did not reach anywhere near his best. So for me, I'm going to give him, and this might be a little bit controversial, 7.5. I think he had a very long period, at least 3 months, of being not the Raz that he's capable of. If he'd performed consistently from the start as to how he ended up, he could have had 50 or 60 goals, and 20 assists. But he had a period in the season where he was really quiet, and that's why I'm giving him a 7.5, because it was a long time.
Okay. Martin?
What is Chris smoking? 7.5. That's terrible. No, I'm only joking. I do get Chris's point, because I said it on the other one we did. He started the season fabulous and then just completely fell off a cliff in the middle. And then he's had an absolute fantastic end. So, I mean, I think, was it you that said it, Andy, in one of the other ones? If you could sort of cut the middle out and put the start and the end together, you'd have like the best season ever with it. And then it's, and then it's really hard. I know we're not talking about it, but I have to keep going back to Saturday night. And that is typical Raz.
Yeah.
Open net from 2 yards. And you think, and
Blue Art.
I'm going to give him an 8.5.
An 8.5. Okay. Blue Art says, Raz, what season? 9.5 for me. Still more to come. He went weeks after Christmas not scoring. He did.
He went weeks before it as well.
Yeah. And still ended up with 31 goals.
It's
10.
amazing.
Unbelievable. Good point, this. Kamal says Sterling has set such high standards for himself now. He has. Alan, thank you for that, mate. Had October, November, December off where he was awful, but after post-COVID, brilliant, so 7.5. Yeah, I mean, I would give him a 7.5, but just like I did with Mahrez, because of his goals and assists, he's got an extra point. So for me, he gets an 8.5. You cannot dismiss those figures. 31 goals and 10 assists. I mean, 2 seasons.
I think he's. Sorry, Andy.
No, I was just gonna. No, it's all right. I was just saying, 2-3 seasons ago, you would have looked at that and went, 31 goals for Raheem Sterling. Have you seen how many he misses?
Yeah.
No chance in a million years. And now he's scoring 31 goals in a season. I mean, you would take 31 goals off Sergio Aguero every single season.
Yeah.
If Sergio Aguero scored 31 goals, we'd just be like, best striker in the world, isn't he? He's just, this is a winger playing on the wrong side, scoring 31 goals. Phenomenal.
But he could easily have had 40.
He could. Yeah, he could have done. Yeah, of course he could. But then when Sergio scores 25 goals, you go, but look how many penalties he missed. And look how many he could have 35, 40. He could have 150 if he didn't take could take penalties. But I don't know. So I'm going for an 8.5 only because I've added a point for those stats, goals and assists. Phenomenal. Right, on to this one. Should be interesting. We're going to just finish off with the last few now, and we've got Gabby. Gabby has played 53 games, 23 goals, 14 assists, 3,274 minutes. Chris?
I'm giving Gabby an 8. I think he's been... I know he's not a traditional number 9, right? But I think we have to get over this. The work he puts in is exceptional. And the goals he scored as well. I mean, take that Real Madrid game. 2 goals really we shouldn't have got, but due to him and his work rate, you know, he pulled us through that. I think he's a potential to stay at City for a very long time, but he's never going to be Sergio Aguero. And for the life of me, I don't see another Sergio Aguero apart from Kylian Mbappe. I don't see who fills his shoes. So I'm going to give him an 8.
You're giving him an 8, okay? Yeah. Martin?
I know what Chris is saying, but you can't just go, well, he works hard. So even though he's a striker, we'll forgive that.
23 goals.
Right?
23 goals, 14 assists.
Right, okay. Right, this is my start on these goals.
We're not trying to change your mind. We're just reading out the...
them in League Cups, FA Cups, Champions League. Don't give me all this 23 goals, mate.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
Games against Oxford United.
Hold on a minute. You gave Mahrez an 8.5, and he scored 13 goals and 16 assists, and a lot of those were in cup competitions.
Yeah, but Gabby, no, my point is here. We're talking about positions. He's playing out of position and doing that. Gabriel Jesus is not playing out of position here. He's a striker.
I thought you said he's better on the left. That's where he plays.
Yes, he is better on the left wing. He is.
So he's playing out of position then.
Oh, for God's sake. Stop changing the bloody argument around you.
I'm only repeating back what you said.
No, he should be, but I can't. Chris said, well, we can't excuse it because he is a striker.
Well, what are you excusing? He's got 23 goals and 14 assists.
That's really good figures.
Well,
I'll tell you what.
How many of them are in the league? Find out how many of them in the league.
No, hold on a minute. We'll come. I'm going to move on to just this next one. Just show you the shared assists. We won't do the score. And I'm not dismissing what you're saying. I'm just wanting to just put something across, which I've got figures in front of me. Now, this might say something to you. Sergio, 23 goals also, 4 assists, 2,092 minutes. So he's played 1,000 minutes less in there. But if Sergio played 50-odd games, I mean, what was his highest total at City? Can you remember? In a season? No, I'm not talking about Premier League goals. I'm talking about his highest goals. Was it 32? Is it 32? Somebody might, I don't know, maybe somebody can get that up and post it on here.
I'm just looking for...
I remember his biggest, I'm talking about Sergio's most goals in a season include everything. I can't remember what it was. So, I mean, I know what you're saying, Martin, but I mean, 23 goals and 14 assists is...
Well, 14 goals in the Premier League, Gabba.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna get you set up with Sergio now. Just hang on. 14 goals. So out of 23 of them, minus 9 or 10 of them are not in the league.
Well, 9. If 14 from 23 is 9.
No, but 14 for the striker is not great, though, is it?
Well, all right then. How many starts did he make in 53?
How many what?
How many starts did he make in 53 games?
Well, we don't play 53 league games, do we?
No,
I want the league games. I don't want them.
Somebody got some pliers so I can pull my teeth.
No, I'm looking. Look at this for Sergio. Sergio's highest is 26.
What are you talking about? Premier League?
Yeah. Sergio Aguero, 26 in the 14-15.
I was talking about... I said...
No, you said what was Sergio's 33 appearances, 26.
No, I didn't. I never. I said, what's the most goals Sergio scored in a season?
Oh, in the whole season?
Yeah, that's what I said. Not Premier League goals. In scored in 33. Well, I said it was around 32. So 33, yeah, in a whole season. Gabby's got 23.
Actually, no, it's not. Sorry, that's misleading. Ignore that. It is... Because I just showed me Premier League goals. Don't want those Premier League goals. Why does this not give you the full stat here?
Don't worry anyway. So go on, Jesus. Let's see what we've got. Gabby Senpai, don't know what to make of him anymore. Brendan Slattery 9. If he scored that goal last night, I'll give him a 10. I think you mean on Saturday, mate. 3 years ago, no one would have thought Sterling would be the player he is now. Liverpool fans saying we paid over the odds, but looks a bargain. To talk about Gabby on this one. You're comparing a selfish finisher to a goal creator. Are you really support Martin?
I go home.
Of course he is. What's that? Sorry?
I go home and away, mate. So
no. He's only joking.
I know he is.
33, yeah, 33. I thought it was around about 30, 32, there or thereabouts.
Just to say that it says here that this is a Premier League record. Gabby scored a goal every 145 minutes, right? That is the same as Harry Kane. It's better than Marcus Rashford. It's better than Anthony Martial. It's better than Sadio Mane. It's better than Mohamed Salah. And it's about the same as Aubameyang. So, this is a guy who also assists as well,
Yeah.
No, listen,
I mean, I don't know what Sergio's on this season, but I mean, his was phenomenal, wasn't it?
Sergio's is every year, isn't it? It's at 91 minutes, mate. It's amazing.
It's barking mad, isn't it?
I'm not saying Gabriel Jesus is not a great player. He's a terrific player and works his ass off. I want him on the wing. I don't think he's a striker. That's my opinion. And there's a lot of fans who don't. Saturday night was a clear example of that. Top strikers put that in. He had time for a cup of tea, a sandwich, a cigarette, and still put it in the net. And he fluffed it.
Not as bad as Sterling did.
No, oh, for God's sake. One's a striker, one's a winger.
We just said we prefer him on the left. So he's playing out of position.
Oh, stop being wind-up dicks tonight, you lot.
Anyway. That's a bit harsh.
Wow.
He's a bit wasteful in fairness to Martin. We create 3 in chances and other teams do. Jesus Club. I agree, Martin, more on the left wing. Yeah, and I think we all think he's not a Sergio Aguero, but you are comparing him to probably one of the greats the Premier League's ever seen. So
I think Haaland could get close to Aguero.
I mean, it's a massive shout that he's not even played in the Premier League.
Aguero hadn't.
No, I know, but Aguero was doing it at Atletico Madrid. I mean, I know, yeah, but he's done it. Haaland hasn't done it yet.
Of course he has.
Well, you honestly believe he has done it in the Premier League? He's never
played.
He's
doing it, scoring goals for fun.
Yeah, in the Bundesliga.
Oh, now you're being leagueish. Now you're being league discriminating now.
No. Right, okay, Jesus then. What are you giving him?
Thank you, James Sharp. Martin on TV. Thank you very much.
We're giving him a 5.
No, I'm going to give him an 8.
All right, well that's fair. That's good score.
That's my point. I wasn't arguing with him being a good player. I don't think he's a striker. That's all I was saying.
So we went after all of that just to tell us he's not a striker. We knew that anyway.
Chris didn't.
I actually gave him an 8.5. I thought he's done really well this year. Yeah, like we just argued, he isn't a Sergio Aguero, and I think sometimes that's the problem. He gets compared. No, I think he gets compared unfairly. People go, "Oh yeah, no," but he does things that Sergio Aguero doesn't do. Simply doesn't. So let's move on to the man we've just been talking about then, and that's Sergio Aguero. 32 games, 23 goals, 4 assists, 2,092 minutes. Just trying to look on the list.
Chris is going to say he's crap.
to yeah. There's only about 5 players who've played less games than him. Surprise, surprise, most of those are defenders. I think there's only Zinchenko as a midfielder who's played less games than Sergio. So 23 goals out of 32 games, 4 assists this season, Chris.
It's not been Sergio's best season,
No.
but I can tell you something, mate. We miss him when he's not there. He is a truly wonderful footballer, a striker, you know. And as I said, mate, I don't know who it is who's going to replace him. I really don't.
Yeah.
Longevity, everything, just brilliant. Like I say, it's not been his best season, but I still happily give him an 8.
An 8. Okay, Martin. Sergio?
This is a tough one. 8.5. Because I don't think it's his best season. You can tell he's slowing up a touch. And with a striker, that first 5 yards of acceleration is key. It's key to a striker. And you can just see Sergio's losing that yard or two of pace. You can see him losing it. But greatest ever striker in the Premier League ever. And they'll never. I know people going about Henry and everything else, but no, it's got to be Aguero for me. But 8.5. It's just a shame he never got to finish the season.
Yeah, I mean, at one point I did have him as I shouted him as the winning the Golden Boot. Then he got injured.
I think he could have done. I think he'd have had a shout for it.
Yeah,
but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm open wrong, but I'm not expecting to be anywhere near that next year with him.
Thank you, Alex. Would love to see how many goals Kun could get under Pep. He's always injured towards the end. Yeah, he always seems to suffer. And around Christmas, funnily enough. And
That's painful, isn't
it? He always has his Christmas off. Yeah, it's a hard one. I'm trying to be objective and not sort of because the fact that I love him as a player. You know what? I'm going to be really controversial and give him a 7.5. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that one.
Well, you gave him an 8, so I'm only
well, I'm just waiting for all the comments now. Andy, you're a joke. Andy, get loud. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Maybe because I'm a bit pissed off he's always injured and don't see the season anymore. But I
maybe
mean,
he's not going to have a chat with Mahrez anymore.
No doubt in his class. 32 games, 23 goals. I mean, you'd take that every year, wouldn't you? We'd just like to see the 32 games be a 48 or a 50 games, and you think, Jesus, we're looking at 38 goals or 40 goals. That's how good he is. But anyway.
Can I just say, Andy, very quickly, there's 200 people on. Can they please give it a thumbs up? That would really be good on the channel. Yeah. That'd be really, really good. Because there's 65 likes and we got 200 on.
Raymond says, I'm being harsh. Go
on, you tell him.
Well, I said it was going to be a curveball. Well, I said it was going to be a bit left field.
I'm a fake fan.
Yeah, I know, but I don't. Yeah, but the thing is, I don't take all these opinions to heart and get upset about them. They are what they are. If Aguero played against Lyon, we'd be playing Bayern on Wednesday. Maybe, but that's gone. That's gone now anyway. 7.5, come on, guys. He was injured. If Andy gets hit by a bus, are we going to say that was crap, Andy? Really awful from you? Well, I wouldn't have thought so because I never used crap or awful about Sergio Aguero this season. So, come on, Andy. Keep up, buddy.
They took a U-turn.
There you go. He plays Sansa at Crimbo back in Argentina. He must do, because he always likes his Christmas travel, doesn't he? Back to Argentina. Right. Pep Guardiola. Well, there were rumours tonight that there's the potential of an extended contract being signed by, or about to be signed by Pep Guardiola. We don't know how long. The tweet didn't mention anything about how long. We don't know whether it's true. There is the rumours. It did say a short extension. That could be 6 months, a year, 2 years. Who knows? But what are your thoughts on Pep Guardiola this season, Chris?
I think he's had a bit of a difficult season with the centre-back situation, especially. You know, whoever's decision it was not to get somebody in to fill Vinney's place, not as a club captain, but as a centre-back, made a huge error. And then with Laporte getting injured, that just compounded it. And we struggled all season. As a score, I'd probably give him an 8. You know, we can't complain. Second in the league, quarterfinals of Champions League, semi-finals, FA Cup, and Carabao Cup winners. You know that. You know, in my lifetime, that's exceptional. But I do have sometimes Pep frustrates me. He's very stubborn about certain things. But that's normal with any manager. You know, you're not going to agree with every decision they make. So yeah, an 8 for me. It's not been his best, but I think that does boil down to not getting the right recruitment in last summer.
Martin?
6.5.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, but I'm not going to do what you do. Oh, in my lifetime, we had a thing. This ain't 20 years ago anymore. We're not the same club anymore. We need to stop this not in my lifetime stuff. That has to go out the window now.
That's not what I said.
No, you said not in my lifetime.
No, Jesus, Martin, listen, I didn't say that. I said it's not a bad season. You know, it's not a bad season.
So that what we've done, the money we've spent, the players we've got, it has not been a good season at all. 20 points behind Liverpool. We whimpered out the FA Cup with not even a smile. We dropped out the FA Cup by a team we've battered twice already this season.
I don't think that was Pep's fault.
And the Champions League, I'm sorry, no excuse. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I think he's got a lot to learn. I still want him as manager, still the greatest manager we've ever had. But sorry, he's ballsed up this year for me.
Okay, yeah. I do think there are a section of City fans who have become very, you know, if we don't win anything, yeah, very, very, you know, I've lost the word.
Entitled.
Very entitled. That's the
No,
word.
I'm not entitled.
And they go, oh, I know, but what about this and what about that? Like Chris said, we don't know who it was. I mean, Addy's made a point here, which I think we've always said, and we don't know. Well, doesn't the fault of the season lie whose idea it was not to replace company ultimately? Well, I don't think it's not to replace company per se. I think the rumours that we were talking about last year was we were in for somebody. It was all dependent on Otamendi leaving. Otamendi was going to leave, and right at the last minute refused to leave, and City couldn't afford to be spending the money that they didn't have the money at the time or the deal would have fallen through or whatever it was. So I think there was a centre back ultimately being looked at to replace company, and it didn't come off for whatever reason. And whoever's to blame is whoever's to blame, and I'm not bothered about that. But I do think it was a big mistake, yes, ultimately. But that Pep's got what he's got then, hasn't he? And I think when Laporte got injured, it just threw everything out there. You know, it was massive. I mean, we could see it right at the beginning, couldn't we? The first 3 months of the season, it was like, oh, here we go, you know. And we didn't look the same as the previous year. We looked very dodgy at the back. But yeah, I agree. The other night, but yeah, I was disappointed with the FA Cup semi-final. I must admit, I thought it was a poor performance. But then again, no, players have to take responsibility.
Yeah, you put a good team out in that.
The team that was on the pitch should have beaten Arsenal, and none of them turned up. None of them turned up. They just didn't. You know, and that's not acceptable. And that's not Pep's fault. The players were easily good enough. If you put half the kids, half the whatever, you could go, oh, Pep, that's stupid, and you know, look ultimately what's happened. But when you put a bloody good team out and nobody turns up, they were awful against us, and that's in semi-final. That's not Pep's fault.
I totally agree. Totally agree, Andy. Because I think the team we put out against Arsenal, it was them. That wasn't on Pep. The Leon match, I would have some criticisms towards the personnel.
Yeah.
But you know, everybody makes mistakes. Even geniuses make mistakes.
Of course they do. Well, I mean, it's like I said to Martin, and I said it in the comments on Saturday night. Games in like the Champions League the other night sometimes go on small margins, very small margins, and you know, we were 1-1. Then we get that, which should have been a free kick.
Absolutely.
It led to the goal, which was 2-1. And then Raz goes and misses that open net, which should have made it 2-2. And we're in the ascendancy then. And chances are we probably would have gone on and won the game. They go immediately up the park, and Ederson makes a cock up. And it's 3-1 and it's game over. Now, it's not Pep's fault for Ederson making that mistake. You wouldn't have any other keeper in. It's not Pep's fault for Raz missing that open net. No. So there were two opportunities where we should have been 2-2 at least. And then we missed several other opportunities in the game as well. So as much as I think he could have played a better team, I don't think you can just put everything on Pep. I think we just didn't take our chances and mistakes happened, which shouldn't have happened. And then we got done by. Yeah. You're shaking your head, Martin. Go on. Why are you shaking your head?
Yeah, I'll call it one thing I don't know, Zane. I don't think I'm entitled. But I'm not going to sing a song at United and Liverpool fans of "You live in the past" and then we live in the past.
No, nobody said you were entitled.
No. But you, my point.
No, never. What did I say? What did I say, Chris?
Some City fans are entitled. When I give a stick,
I said some City fans.
Well,
I said you. Otherwise, if I thought it was you, I'd say, yeah, you're bloody entitled.
You can't sing a song to United and Liverpool. You live in the past, and then we live in the past. Oh, it's been a good season because 20 years ago we were shit. No, I'm sorry. That's changed now. We can't sing about other clubs living in the past and then we do it.
Well, hold on a minute. Weren't you 20 minutes ago comparing Kevin De Bruyne in 2017-18?
Not 2 years. There's a difference between 2 years and 20 years.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable. He forgets half the time what he's already said.
No, I haven't. I'm not comparing 2 years to 20 years ago. Big difference.
No, but Chris might have been talking about 2008, 2009.
No, we have lost 9 games this year. The most we've lost.
So what? So what? So what? What? So if you don't win the league, you throw your toys out the pram. That's it. That's it. We haven't won it. No, that's it. We're not going to win it every single year. We're not going to win the league.
Man United won it for how many years on the bounce?
3.
Right. They dominated the 90s.
And
you're
going back to the 90s. You said you don't want to talk about history.
What I'm saying is, I'm not sitting here. I'm sorry, but some fans have got this thing of Pep is immune to criticism. Yes,
well, maybe there are some fans out there that are like that. I'm certainly not. I've just told you the reasons where I think he got it wrong.
Well, you just blamed all the players a lot of the time.
No, I never.
Not the players. The players.
All right then. All right. Okay, Martin. All right, Martin. So I'll ask you the same question that Chris agreed on. The team against Arsenal in the semi-final, should they have beaten Arsenal with that team?
Yeah.
Well, there you go then. That's what we've just been saying. And Chris agreed. But you're just going on and saying it's the players. You've just said the same thing. That team should have beaten Arsenal. Nobody turned up in the semi-final. Nobody played well.
We lost 9 games this season. 9. No. More than United, more than Arsenal. And more than a lot of other teams this year who we finished above. So there's got to be answers. There's got to be questions answered.
Well, I mean, people still go on about the Invincibles. I think they won the league with 81 and drew 12 games all season.
Mm-hmm.
Over those. Doesn't mean say because you lose 9 games, that's it. You look at the points we got and everything else. It's been not as good as the points we got previous seasons. But that's like saying, but look how many points we finished ahead of Liverpool 3 years ago. And look how many points we finished ahead of United in those seasons that we won. It's irrelevant. Liverpool have been the best team by far this season.
I've never said sack Pep or anything. All I'm saying is Pep should have questions to answer.
I agree with you. Totally agree with you. Totally agree. I've never said that Pep shouldn't.
Chris, who the hell agree or who made the decision not to buy a centre back last year? That's criminal. That is criminal. That what that did. And then I know, and I think I know this is awful. I'm not having to go in. We didn't overly need Cancelo, really, and we went about beginning season centre back. It's like crazy.
But I mean, we don't know ultimately what really happened at the end of last season. Like I said, there were rumours, and they were only rumours that we had somebody lined up, but it was all dependent on Otamendi going. And Otamendi changed his mind at the last minute, and the deal fell through for the defender. Whether City couldn't afford it because Otamendi stayed, or whether somebody else came in and bought that defender. We don't even know who that defender centre back was. So and these could just be rumours. But so I do think we could have gone and bought somebody else, yeah, and I think maybe we should have done. But if this is right, the last week of the season or days before the end of the transfer window, they probably, I think, were frustrated and left with who do we buy then, or do we trust Stones and Otamendi and Garcia for this season? And I think from previous seasons, you'd probably go, yeah, I think we could get through it. We just didn't think Liverpool were going to be that ultra consistent this season, and they have been. And
I think whoever wants Pep out is mad. Whoever wants Pep out is totally mad. Yeah. They're off the rocker because you're not going to get a better manager than him in. I just think we're at a stage now where, well, I've said it all season, we need that little bit of a rebuild now. We're sort of
right.
We're at that where we were.
But I would ask you, Martin, out of all the games that we have lost this season, how many of them do you put at Pep's door?
The United away one I do, and the United at home. Because United at home, I knew exactly the way United were going to play, and Pep should have done. Yeah, that should have been countered, because we all said that we all knew the way United were going to play.
Yeah,
that was, and that's only because if us four know how United are going to play, who know jack about football really, Pep should know how United are going to play. Really, that's my opinion. Norwich, I'm a little bit thing about.
Maybe I don't think you can blame Pep for that. Norwich had a weak team out against us. That they had lots of injuries, and we conspired to mess it up.
That's what's worse. They had half their team out.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, Martin. I know it was, but I think sometimes, yeah, I think when Pep picks a team, you go, hasn't worked. But then let's face it. And another thing, before the Real Madrid game, you saw the lineup before the Madrid game, and you were going slow midfield again, blah blah blah. Absolutely dominated Real Madrid.
Oh no, I don't have a problem.
So I mean, yeah, I know, but sometimes they will. I do think Pep's made mistakes. I do definitely. But the nine. I don't think the 9 defeats this season are down to all of them are Pep's picked the wrong team and things. It's been major cock-ups at the back. Yeah. Major cock-ups. And that's not Pep's fault. It's the players' fault for doing it. So, yeah, we've lost 9 games. Is that good enough? No, not really for the team, the players we have. But you pick a team, and most of those defeats, you would go into it going, we shouldn't have lost that game without them players on the pitch. There's no way. So you can't always just put it down to, oh, well, we lost the game, so it must be Pep's fault.
Oh, I do think the players should take a lot of the responsibility as well. I do. I think it should be both. It should be both. And I'd love Pep to sign. If I could get the ideal scenario where I'd love Pep to sign a 4-year deal, because then he can go, right, here's the players I want. I've got 4 years, in you come. At the moment, if you believe rumours, you've got 1 year on a contract, and we're signing players on 4- and 5-year contracts. And then if things don't go to plan, a new manager comes in and might go, I don't fancy this fella, and I've got him on a 4-year contract.
Yeah.
And I think we need some clarity moving forward as soon as possible.
Oh, clarity on what? On Pep's position?
On Pep. And definitely on Pep. And I'm hoping this tonight is true. I really would.
Yeah, I think everybody would. I think everybody.
Because I love Pep. He's the greatest manager we've ever had. I just think it's been, and listen, maybe it's just been a poor season, and we've got to forget about it. And yeah, I think we're just at that stage for me anyway. We're still at that because for Saturday night, he's still bothering me a bit. I can't get over it a little bit because
it seems that way.
I just can't get over 3-5-2 once. The first time you play it all season and you roll out 3-5-2.
I agree.
Okay, what? You go on. Sorry,
I do agree with Martin that the 3-5-2 for the first time in a season. When Pep gave his explanation as to why he played it, I can be pragmatic enough to sort of say fair enough, but I don't understand the square pegs and round holes. I don't get it. Don't understand why you've got a right back playing at left back, a 19-year-old kid who doesn't want to play playing centre half alongside a 34-year-old centre defensive midfielder.
Vinney in the back three.
Yeah, when you could have had, we've seen Kyle Walker play the right side in a back three. You could have had Cancelo on the right wing back, Mendy on the left wing back, Laporte and Stones or Otamendi. I do question that.
Right. Okay. Just before we finish, then I'll ask you then this question, Martin. What would have been a successful season for you then? Because clearly it's been a poor one. You said.
I think I like to challenge Liverpool more. I'm not bothered about winning it. I wanted us to challenge. I think yes, Liverpool are a fantastic team. They are. I'm not going to lie, but we didn't push them. And I'm going to be honest with you, we're a better team on the day than them. We proved that at the Etihad. We're a better footballing team than them. And I just think we should have pushed them closer. It shouldn't have been as easy as they got it.
So a successful season would have been if we just would have had another 10 points or something in the league.
Just challenging and going. And if we'd have got through on Saturday night and we'd have got battered by Munich, I can hold my hands up and go, listen, Bayern Munich, one of them. And as much as Lyon are a brilliant team, they did finish 7th in League One.
Yeah, but Napoli finished 7th in Serie A and beat Liverpool in the group stages, and Liverpool got knocked out by Atletico.
No, but we were all saying this one-game knockout was going to suit us.
Yeah. Yeah, but it did. Yeah. But so next season, then, what's Pep got to do to convince you it's not another poor season, and what would be a good season next season or a satisfactory season?
I want to see us stop putting players of what, like I said on Saturday and Chris, I want to stop this square pegs in round holes.
No. I'm talking about what constitutes a success for you, because you said this season 9 losses and it's been a poor season. What would constitute a good season?
It's some of the performances that have bothered me. The Wolves game at home, that was the Wolves game away.
Yeah, that was Pep's fault.
There's some games where you look at it and you think, what's going on here?
Yeah, but I mean that's not an answer to the question. The question is what will constitute success, not whether one game he plays well.
No, because I'm not trying to.
Doesn't define the season.
I'm not saying I want to win trophies next year. I'm not bothered about trophies. Never have been.
So it's not trophies for you.
No, never has been. But I don't want us. I don't want us to give up. Try.
So next season would be a success if we don't win anything, finish 5 points behind Liverpool, but play some good, exciting football. That'd be a success for Pep.
No, it won't be for Pep.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, Pep.
For me personally, what I did not like is we gave up in games. I don't like giving up. One thing City fans have all been about is you come off with sweat off that shirt. And I can't say every single game we've done that. And maybe that comes back to maybe then it's the players' fault then more than Pep's.
Okay.
Some of the players haven't maybe given their all.
All right, Chris, what will constitute a good season next season?
Yeah, I think what Martin says is true, actually. You know, as long as we are competing, you know, at a high level, it will be on recruitment. And if we don't bring in a decent centre back, expecting pretty much the same season all over again.
Yeah.
So I don't think that any match I remember City throwing it in. I mean, I just watched the Barcelona Bayern Munich. That is a team throwing it to get in. You know, I never saw start of City. What I did see from City was no plan B, especially in that Wolves game at home. It was, you know, that's disappointing. And I think that maybe is a coaching thing. Maybe we do try to pass the ball into the net too often rather than, you know, doing something different. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to see us win a trophy. It's not the be end and end all. And another thing I would say about Liverpool have had an exceptional season, and even if we'd been at our very best, it would have been very hard to stop them. But they are lucky in the fact they don't seem to get many injuries. They seem to be able to put a very consistent team out. And as you have said plenty of times before, Pep goes for 4 trophies a season, and Klopp doesn't do that.
Yeah, and I've said that all along. It's one he goes for every competition where.
Yeah.
Klopp targets this.
Well, here's the question: would you drop one of those trophies if it meant was getting further in the Champions League?
Well, no, definitely not the Champions League. Because I've told you, I couldn't give a flying shite about the Champions League. I'm not interested in it one iota until they make it like it used to be the European Cup, where it's at the actual champions who go through to a competition to win it. I'm not interested in, and I never will be. Of course, if City are in a competition, what's he as winning it? But I will never ever take this competition seriously in its current format, and never have done.
Problem is, the owners do want it. The owners do want it.
Well, yeah, I mean, so everybody keeps saying. I've never heard Sheikh Mansour come out going, the Champions League is the priority. Did he say in his interview? The Champions is the priority.
Yeah, he said to have a real good chance at winning the Champions League this year was the main goal.
Yeah. It was the main
interview with.
Okay, I'll watch it back tomorrow and see.
No, not the one from last summer.
Yeah, last year. Yeah, I'll watch it back and see what his exact words were. I think he says we want to go.
I'm sure you will.
I think he said, I want to go a long way in it, if I remember rightly. Now, there's priorities and there's priorities. Of course, the owner will want the Champions League because heightened publicity and things like that. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not for me. It just isn't. And if we win it, great. If we don't, fine. I'm more than happy. But Premier League is always, for me, the main one.
So what would be a successful season for you?
2 trophies next season. Premier League and Premier League and the FA Cup, Premier League and the League Cup, League Cup and FA Cup. I'd rather have the Premier League all day long. It's the
So that I agree with 100%. Premier League over the Champions League.
I was disappointed this season because of the semi-final against Arsenal. So I think we should have won the FA Cup and the League Cup this year. Would have been another 2 trophies. The league was gone a long time ago. I think we all resigned ourselves to that. Champions League, not that asked about it, I'll be honest with you. Not bothered in the slightest. Mate, honestly, Saturday night, I said, I was reading some of the comments and toys being thrown out the pram left, right, centre, and it was like, oh my Lord. And yeah, for me personally, no interest in it whatsoever. If it goes back to a standard European Cup, I'll be all for it. Only the champions should play in something called the Champions League. It's just, like I said, the Carabao Club biscuit, whatever you want to call them, competitions. It's all for UEFA to make money. So, there you go. 2 trophies next season. Premier League and something else would be nice. And if we get a longer run in the Champions League, so be it. Not bothered. Anyway,
it's a great point by Brendan Slack there. We do need to get a plan B in games.
Yeah, we do. You looked up for the Champions League a few nights ago. When was that? A few nights ago. I wasn't on here a few nights ago. Martin was. Horsemuck lad. I don't know.
Is that meant to be at me?
It's chatting a right load of garbage. Probably one of those wanting Pep out on Saturday night. Pep never have a plan B. Yeah, I agree with that. Well, I don't say never have a plan B, but certainly needs a more of a plan B.
Especially with these crosses, do you not think we need an heading Zeko? Because that's where you want a Zeko to go, dink.
Yeah, maybe. But then again, we didn't play, look at the season before last, and we didn't play a lot of big crosses into the box, did we? Everything seemed to be on the floor, so.
No, that's just Cancelo.
A shout out to Kevin De Bruyne, obviously on their goals this season. Raz 31, Gabby and Sergio 23, and Kevin De Bruyne 16. Assists, Kevin De Bruyne 23, Riyad Mahrez 16, and Jesus 14. Minutes played, highest was Sterling at just under 4,000. Ederson at 3,837 and KDB at 3,826. So, incredible. That's the season over with. Everyone's had their say. Everyone is entitled to their opinions. Some will say it's a massive disappointment. Others will say could have been better. And others will be going, it is what it is, and we move on to next season, which should be starting very soon. Let's hope the players are away in a rest, because it's just going to be non-stop after all right, they've had 3 months, 4 months off before they came back to training, but it's not just this, it's right the way through winter and into next year as well for England.
Maybe back in October.
Well, I think I read something today. I read something on that today. And that's going to be trials, isn't it, in October? It doesn't look great. Anyway, the trials, you're not allowed to sing and you're not allowed to... watching on TV.
Could you imagine how many fans are going to go in there when it's not their name on the ticket and you've got to have what they need to get in the place?
I know, it's going to be horrendous. Yeah. But anyway, want to say a massive thank you to Martin and Chris. Thanks, buddy. Really appreciate it, both of you.
Thanks to all the subs, because the subs have gone up again tonight.
Been superb, absolutely brilliant. So thank you, everyone. I really do appreciate it. That's the wrap up of the season. Yeah, disappointing on Saturday night, and disappointing in the FA Cup semi-final, really. But at the end of the day, it's the team we love, the team we'll follow, regardless of what happens. And let's hope we do get the recruitment right, whatever we do this summer, and get definitely a couple of more players in. And sorry?
Not the end for us, though. Might be the end of the season.
Not the end of what?
Said it might be the end of the season, but it's not the end for us. We're going right through.
Oh, yeah, we'll still be doing stuff. But, don't forget, if you're not subscribed, hit subscribe, hit that bell icon. And it would be really great if you give it a thumbs up as well. We'll be back, don't know when, but we'll be doing more on this. But that's the end of 2019-2020 season for Manchester City in particular. I want to say a massive thank you to the absolute legend, which is David Silva, for all he's done at Manchester City. We're going to miss him, but hopefully he will be back at some point, whether that's later this year or next year, for his testimonial, and he will get a statue outside the Etihad, which he deserved, and a pitch name after him as well. So will Vinney as well. But thank you. Take care. I know it's late. I know it's a long one. But we'll see you soon.